Here we go live about now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, welcome back to another stream on another Thursday night with my good friend here, Stuntman Marq. And thanks once again for doing another stream with me. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Shout out to Predminator for requesting it. This is a great film. It should be a lot of fun. Can't wait to watch it.
Yes, and to say hi to people in the chat at first before we start. Hey there, Predminator. Hope you're doing well. Thanks once again for the request, man. DJ Donnelly, Silver Wings, we got Hunk 100, Slasher Fred, Andrew Grief. Sorry if I screwed up your last name. Bobby. I hope you guys are doing well. People quoting Aliens. Makes sense. It's a very quotable film.
Oh, yeah.
No problem, Fadi. Thank you, man. At least for stopping by. That's all good. It'll be archived like all the other ones. So it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
The Filminator. Hello there. Caleb. So we'll start very quickly because it is I mean, the link doesn't bother me, but it just is a long film. It's 2.5 hours.
Yes.
Uh, but
And we are doing the
we'll
special edition for everybody out there.
yes, that is we are doing the special edition, and we also pause it about 5 seconds in because that's when the Fox logo is right about to fade in. Figure that's a good uh, point for anybody and everybody who watches this either now or afterwards. Because I don't know like whether streaming platforms if they have other stuff before it. Just sometimes they add other stuff on there. So I figure as soon as the Fox logo, that'll be consistent for anybody who watches this, unless they Disney goes back just replaces the Fox logo everywhere in older films with 20th Century Studios.
You
I wouldn't
never
be
know.
surprised at that.
Yeah, you never know.
But yeah, hey there, Chaz and Jojo. Hello, everyone. No problem, Premier. Thank you. Thank you for your kindness. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Thanks for everybody stopping by. Appreciate all the love in the chat. You guys are great. Can't wait to watch this.
And I guess since we have that set up, we'll get right into it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like Mark says, it is the special edition, which is about 2 hours, 34 minutes, and 27 seconds, give or take. At the end, we're about 5 seconds in. We're paused at when the Fox logo is fading in to appear. We'll count down. Hi there, Rufus. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. And the Fox logo is pumping and grinding there with the searchlights. Nowadays, they're searching for a good alien film. That's what the searchlights are for. A good film is here. We're looking for the next good alien film.
That's right.
Can we find it? I saw this when I was a kid. This is probably the one I watched the most as a kid. I did watch the first one as well, but this one I watched more.
Oh, yeah. Same here.
And I don't know why, but when I was like 6, 7, for some reason, this opening would scare me. I don't know why. I don't get scared of movies.
Mm-hmm.
I can watch Freddy Krueger like turn someone into a cockroach and be fine. But for some reason, I think just James Horner's score here and the way the titles come up for some reason, like
Mm-hmm.
for like the first 2 or 3 times, freaked me out. Then I was fine afterward. But
Now, I can't remember if we discussed this last time on the Alien commentary, but did you see this one first?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I would guess so.
Okay.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say so because, like, again, both of them I saw when I was a kid, but this one, uh, I think because action is my favorite genre, but then you also have all the horror and other elements. So I love Alien, but I gravitated towards this more.
Mm-hmm.
How did you first see this?
VHS. And I think I mentioned that in the last commentary. So, yeah, this was a VHS watch. I don't think at the time the special edition was available. And it's funny, like, you know, you watch movies like this so many times that you know exactly where the new footage has been put in. I don't know if that's still the case for you. Even though I've seen the special edition a million times, I can still always place where like the extra footage is. Um, yeah, this
Well,
go
I
ahead.
think for me, it's just because I've seen the film so many times. It's probably I've said it's become my favorite film. Yeah, I
Mhm.
just like committed the memory, so that's how I could pick. Yep, that's the special edition and this and that. So
Yeah. Yep. Same. Um, and we saw a few credits go by, and I remember them talking about Ray Lovejoy not having the best time editing the film, only because
oh yeah,
Cameron was just on his ass the whole time, and he wasn't really liking how it was turning out. So I think he said he like did the final fight sequence between Ripley and the Queen. He edited that all together in one weekend. He locked himself in the editing suite and just got it done. And then Cameron comes in and he's like, "Wow, okay, you can keep your job." So I know a lot of people got fired on the production of this movie. um, James Remar was one. I think it was Dick Bush as well, the DP, who would not light the film correctly. Um,
right.
yeah, it's man, and even with well, we talked about Corman last time. We got to thank him again because I mean he gave Cameron his start as well as Gail Ann Hurd. And they would go on to do this movie together. They, I think, it just got
Hmm.
married at the time. So it's a lot of things that just fell into place perfectly for this film to come about.
But real quickly, frame by frame, this was requested by Predminator. Thanks go out to him. Uh, real quick, what was it? Kun Lao, thank you for the kind words. I'm glad you liked the channel. And no, I never played that video game, Fire Team Elite. So just wanted to answer a few questions from the chat. But yeah, this film I would watch consistently throughout my childhood. Never got tired with it, even with the might be a longer running time, but it just never bothered me because I like the world it invokes, the characters. It just
Hmm.
all the right buttons that a movie needs to hit, it hits it for me. The music, the characters, the way it's
Yeah.
directed. James Cameron before his balls got left from the divorce or the multiple divorces. Just it's
Right.
like
Yeah.
Gail and her, then Linda Hamilton, and so forth.
Catherine Bigelow. Yeah.
So that's why all the women took his balls. They made Avatar. There you go.
That's right.
Right.
Silver Wings. He makes a point about James Remar. Unfortunately, it was drugs. Um,
Yeah.
but fortunately, we get Michael Bain. So I mean, it worked out,
Yeah.
and that was very last minute. But I mean, he came in, and I think they had James Remar for like a week, and
Hmm.
then he got fired. And he's still in one of the shots. If you look closely enough, you can still see him.
Yeah.
But yeah, Michael Bain coming in to play Hicks was perfect, perfect casting, and he knocked it out of the park. I think we all prefer him. No hate against James Remar though; he's always great in everything.
Oh, exactly. But I absolutely do prefer Michael Bean over James Remore.
Hmm.
Have you seen Mortal Kombat Annihilation? The
Oh, he's
but
great
yeah,
in that, but in
and
a different way, like for a whole different reason.
but the thing about the James Remore stuff, the other thing is that I think he got hired because Walter Hill, who was the producer, had directed him in films like The Warriors,
Yeah,
and
that's
so
it.
they were good friends.
Hmm.
And then when Walter Hill found out about this, of course, he felt embarrassed because this is the guy he recommended. And then, from what I understand, he never worked with James Remore again. Never, ever again.
And Remar said he felt more bad about losing his job than like it was. He disappointed his friend. Like he got him the job and he fucked up. Um, and I think he said that's when he got clean. Of course, it was too little, too
Mhm.
late, but he still got clean and stayed off of it ever since. So that's good for him.
And of course, we have Paul Reiser here, who
Mm-hmm.
now anytime I see him in a film, I'm like, that's a dick. Is he a dickhead in this movie? He's always the turncoat prick.
Mm-hmm.
We're about 7 minutes and 28 seconds in. Now, granted, probably when I first saw this, I never bought like this was really happening. Maybe because I'm looking at the back of the VHS and going, "Well, she's in this scene. She's in this scene. She can't be
Mm-hmm.
dead." But I
Exactly.
do think if it's, I'm fine with it. Not as I thought it's really happened, but more as it's a good showcase of the character's psychology. That
Yeah.
it's a PTSD in a way. It's PTSD, and
Exactly.
that's the reason. Because people ask, why does she go back? Why would she go back? It's to stop the nightmares
Mm-hmm.
and overcome her PTSD.
Yeah. And I
I'm
mean,
watching this real quickly. I'm watching a stream. I have the 4K, but the way it's settled, like the TV, like there's stuff in the way of the bed, so I can't watch it from here. So I'm watching on a stream. But yeah, go ahead, Mark.
yeah, I'm watching it on the stream as well. Um, but yeah, it just there's that whole conversation about like you're going out there to not to study, not to bring back, but wipe them out. So in her own way, I mean, yeah, it's overcoming her fears, but I mean, she wants to put it into this species. Um,
Yeah,
and I mean, hell, it killed all her friends last time, so she's like, why not? If I can help stop this from happening to another crew of blue collar workers, all the better.
yeah. I know that back then they actually cared about a movie being too long. Go figure. So I still always thought this should have stayed. Hey there, review games at night. I think of at the very least, I think this scene and the scene where Hicks and Ripley give their first names.
Mm-hmm.
I think at the very least, those two scenes should have stayed in. I do like
Mm-hmm.
the sentry scene, but I know that's a very lengthy scene, and if you have to cut it, I really enjoy the scene, but it doesn't. You could cut out and still the movie's works fine.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, this is such an important part of her character. It's still surprising they cut this out because it shows her mindset and why she looks after Newt so much. This was like the cut I thought was the weirdest one to do to not have in a theatrical cut.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff that's cut. Oh, there's Sigourney's actual mother in the photo.
Mm,
Um, little piece of trivia for you guys. But yeah, I didn't think the cuts were needed. I know running time, I get that, but like
yeah.
I like all the stuff that was cut for them. Even the scene, and I'm jumping ahead a lot. The scene with Burke where he's got the embryo in his chest. And like that's a deleted scene. That's not I don't think that's in the special edition either.
No, it's not in the special edition. That's
Yeah.
if you have the Blu-ray set, it's a separate deleted scene.
Right.
And she gives him a
Um
grenade.
yeah, and just keeps moving. I always love that. It's just poetic justice, I mean, and how ironic, like the very thing that, he tried to do to her ends up happening to him. Um and they could have went a different way with his character. He could have been a real asset, but you see his true motive later on, and
Mhm.
he gets what he deserves. I mean, his character gets his comeuppance. Silver Wings, yeah. I mean, I don't know if they're friends, like they're gonna go and hang out at each other's house every day, but I mean, you would have to develop some sort of friendship, at least in a working respect, because you're on a ship for how many ever years they're out there doing whatever the crew does. Like, I mean, I'd say that, like,
Well, see,
go ahead.
the way I took it was that it was more of, again, I watch the special edition all the time now. I
Hmm.
rarely go back to the theatrical.
Okay.
She's going back. The way I view it with her is she wants revenge.
Yeah.
She wants to get rid of her PTSD, and she hates him because it took away her daughter.
Right.
And that's why I think this should have been left in, because that's a big motivator. Because of this thing, I lost my daughter and can
Hmm.
never see her again. And I
Right.
think that's like a major motivator, revenge, and I
Hmm.
think that really works in this. And then on top of that, by doing so, gains a new daughter. I always hated this girl, not the actress, but this character. Just her nasally voice is it's asking for blood. It's like, it's not the actress. It's just I think that's on purpose. It's like, like, you're full of shit, lady. You don't know what
Yeah.
the fuck you're talking about. Fuck your goddamn Prince Valiant haircut. Okay, get a pencil sharpener and shave the shit. Stick the Prince Valiant haircut up your ass. God damn, man.
That's why I love the line.
It's not the actors, it is the purpose of this character.
She's like, did IQs just drop while I was away? Like, what
That's
happened?
one of my favorite lines.
Everybody's so stupid.
Oh, thank you, man. From Japan, cool. Big fan of Aliens. That's my favorite film too. For a while, big props. Goofy announcer, YouTube voice speaking normally in the. Well, I mean, that's just. Yeah, I'm not. I never really talk funny. I just that's just not me. But thank you, man. Sorry, I just like, wow, someone from Japan, cool.
That is cool.
A place I always wanted to visit but never have.
What time is it over there, man? Like, it's 9 o'clock here, or 9 ish.
Now this is adding the special edition. This is a bit extended. Him giving these punishments to her.
Hmm.
That's added for the special edition. That wasn't the theatrical. It's 11:20 a.m. or p.m. Well, it'd be a.m. I guess, right?
Has
A.m.
to be AM.
Damn,
Yeah,
yeah, 11 in the morning. Cool.
that's cool.
Best part of waking up, some aliens in your cup. Fuck you, Burke. Shut up, Burke. Just punch him in the face. And this guy too, just want a chest burst to come right through his forehead,
Yeah,
just like that guy in Alien Resurrection, Leland Orser.
yeah. And the setup is just great when she says
Yeah.
families, like 70.
How many families? The irony of Ripley's revenge against the aliens is in the Alien Sea of Sorrows book. The aliens want revenge on Ripley and all who share a bloodline for actions against their species. Never heard of that book. Is that a comic book or is that like an actual book? I never heard of that book, Sea of Sorrows.
Yeah, me neither.
It's interesting. Now, I do like this scene, but
Mhm.
this is the one scene I would be fine if they cut. I like the scene, Hadley's Hope, but if they
Mhm.
cut it, I wouldn't have an issue. Like, there's sometimes part of me, like, I can watch the scene, I enjoy the scene, but sometimes there's a part of me that I wish there was a cut that kept all the special edition except this. I know that sounds weird, but I like the scene, but
Mhm.
it's like I like the rest of the special edition editions. This is one that I'm fine with, but if it was not there, I would have been fine as a deleted, like, watch separately type of thing.
Mhm. Yeah, I think
Maybe I'm alone in that.
no. I mean, I can understand that, but for me, I want as much as I can get of the movie. I want it to be as long as possible. Of course, it has to end at some point, but like I just
Right.
appreciate the miniatures and the all the production and
You
everything. Like
appreciate the sweat stain on that guy's back.
I do. Like I love everything in the film. So like I'll
Everyone's got
take
sweat stains.
yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I guess people. Yeah, I. That's for the same reason. Total meltdown, civil wings. Yeah, the mystery. because they're looking through it and your mind's trying to replicate all the stuff they're finding, what could have happened. I mean, granted, we don't see the battle, so you still have that, but
Mm-hmm.
that's why I think the mystery is still there where you don't see the battle. So the mystery, I think, is still intact, but at the same time, uh, idea why was in there just to show the circumstances, like all these kids,
Mm-hmm.
they got they got
Yeah,
cocky by the xenomorphs.
yeah, it makes it all the more tragic. I mean, when you see the
Yeah.
entire crew at work, and I mean, I how epic would it have been to have seen that happen though? Like just the massacre with all these xenomorphs attacking, and how they fought back as well, because you see the damage to the infrastructure and everything once the Marines come in. But it is a good air of mystery, and I like that, like, this film
Mhm.
has so many elements, and Cameron didn't want to just focus on horror. It's which the first film does very, very well, obviously, but I mean, you get your action, your suspense, the thrills, there's mystery, there's comedy even in certain lines, mostly by Paxton, who's just timing is amazing. So I like a mixed bag of everything, and as much as I love horror, I think we all know I'm a huge horror mark, but still, I just
Yeah.
this is so well done, and I can't believe that anybody would ever say that it's not a good film. So when like you said that last on the last commentary, and I'm like, there's no way. Like you're crazy to think that, like, if you don't like the movie, that's fine. But to not like acknowledge the technical feats and everything that they do in the movie, like you can't be that dismissive. Like to me, that's not a fair criticism if you're saying like it's not a good film. I just can't believe that anybody
Yeah,
would
people
believe
would say
that.
the same about Alien 3.
No, fuck
You don't
that. It's
appreciate the technical aspects. You don't appreciate the technical aspects of that, Mark. You know,
no.
you can't say it's not a good film.
Yeah. What technical aspects? All the horrible CGI that they do? No, I don't appreciate that because it's not good.
Alien Sea of Sorrows is an original novel. James A. Moore connected to the novels uh, Alien Out of the Shadows and Alien River of Pain, but you don't need to read them to enjoy this book. Oh,
Hmm,
so it's a novel. Okay, interesting.
interesting. Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, James Horner. I mean, I know he didn't have the best time doing this because it would keep pushing back on having an actual film to score that was edited enough for him to work the tracks into the timing of the music, timing of the score,
Hmm.
and then he had to like do it last minute. And for last minute, he did a fantastic job because
Oh
for
yeah.
me, I think it's his best score, especially Bishop's
Okay.
Countdown, which was used in like every other movie
A
trailer.
million trailers. Yeah.
From Dusk Till Dawn, it was in that trailer.
Hmm.
Uh, a lot of movies.
Hmm.
And then I know that he was bad at Cameron until I think Cameron saw Braveheart, like James Horner's score, and then got him for Titanic.
Yeah, and they work together on Avatar as well, I believe.
Yeah.
So they definitely patch things up.
Yep, he was in the Lake Placid trailer as well, that score, yeah. Back when people smoked in movies. Watch out,
it's
you burn yourself.
it's funny you watch this movie and like everybody's smoking, and same with the behind the scenes. There's so many characters smoking, like Chimney's, like the guy who plays Apone, I think it's Al Matthews, I think. He
Yeah.
every, every time you see him, he's got a cigarette in his fingers.
Cigar. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got the cigar in the movie, and then like behind the scenes he's got the cigarette.
Well, thank you, Bobby. Have I ever gotten excited for an action scene for the hero to win that I got excited, walked off, and screamed in happiness? No. Probably the closest was the original Dawn of the Dead when I thought he was going to shoot himself in the head, Ken Foray, and I was like pissed. I was very young when I saw that.
Okay.
And then when he didn't, I'm like, yeah, just he
Yeah.
was my favorite character. The black guy doesn't die, but it's just I liked his character.
Yeah.
And I know the guys that did pick get pissed at this. I don't like the original Night of the Living Dead. I think it sucks. I like the 1990 movie more, and I like Dawn of the Dead a lot more. So
Well,
I know
Day's
it's
my
like
favorite. That's a controversial take. I know people
I like
love
Day.
Dawn.
Day's a
Uh,
good one.
Day's my favorite one.
Day's a good one. I do not like the original Night of the Living Dead. I think it's boring as shit, and I think that girl, I, rest in peace to the actress, but I think she was told to do it. It's like or just and then carried off to her death. I'm like, okay. I know it's a different time. It's just not my time. I didn't grow with that time.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, Predminator. He unfortunately he did pass away. Same year as R. Lee Ermey. I think they were both passed away 2018. And both had
Which one?
actually served Al Matthews, Apone.
Oh, yeah, and also and James Horner sadly passed away too.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a helicopter crash, I believe. Plane crash.
Yeah, I think
I
so.
think so.
But yeah, he he actually got to hang out with Harley Ermey from what I heard, like times when they weren't shooting and it was their downtime. They would hang out because I think Full Metal Jacket was filming close by. So
Do you imagine?
the cast members
Do you
would
imagine?
hang out.
I would just say, do you imagine if it was R. Lee Ermey as Sergeant April?
That would
Just
have
the
been
stuff
great.
he would say, like his dialogue, saying it to like Bill Paxton, Michael Biehn, and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, Al Matthews did a great job. The whole cast did a great job in
Yeah.
this.
They both use that phrase, asshole and elbows. It's like a legit thing they would say. So it's a lot of parallels there.
Exactly.
There's more dreams or I should say nightmares about what happened, as
Mm-hmm.
anybody would have dealing with something like that.
Yep, we were shown it before, and then we see her clutching her chest. So we now in our minds know what kind of dream it is and the possible details that are showcased within it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's my favorite Sigourney Weaver performance. She was nominated for an Oscar for this, which is surprising for this kind of movie.
Yeah, a total of 7 Academy Awards for the whole film. So that's an impressive feat, especially for Cameron's first big studio movie. Which people give him shit for, like at least the British crew for how he was on set. But
Yeah.
I mean, he had to get this movie done. I mean, that's a big
Well,
deal.
also because he wasn't really Scott, and they're like,
That too, yeah. Mm-hmm. They resented him for
which is
not
really
being.
stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that kind of? I mean, isn't that kind of racism? Hey, you're American. You're not.
You're not British.
Was this nominated for Best Picture? Was that one of the nominations?
I believe so. I know obviously effects was a nomination. Oh, and speaking of this thing is only like 6 feet long, the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Um but it's just one of those things where um I guess you could call it ingenuity or just making anything and everything work regardless of what they were limited to technology wise at the time. I mean, shooting those miniatures that way um was great. I mean, of course, Star Wars would have been like the tentpole film to like have all that go over big and be the big mega hit. And I think Cameron said he got upset when he saw that because he's like, fuck, like that's the movie I want to make. That's, I should be doing something like that. Like if they can get away with shooting stuff like that and effects that way, he's like, there's no reason I can't do the same. So it's another reason Star Wars kind of played a part into this movie.
Mm-hmm. And this is all stuff added for a special edition, seeing the remnants of the Sulaco, which I love the outside of the ship. Of course, I love the fact it looks like a gun, looks like a pulse rifle, which I'm sure on purpose.
Yeah.
With the Colonial Marines.
Speaking of the guns, Silver Wings, you're in here, man. What do you think about the guns in this movie? Because I know they weren't all like actual guns that were designed that way. Like Cameron had them modified to look futuristic. He wanted something with the brightest muzzle flash possible to bounce off the characters' faces in those dark scenes.
And this scene, like just a simple technique of they had a mirror, so it doubles the amount of pods.
Yeah.
So they only had like a certain amount of pods, but then they had a mirror and they doubled in the other shots.
They only had a set of 4 pods because they were really expensive to make. They used mirrors quite a few times in this to create some trickery to the eye and make it seem like they had bigger production than what they did actually have.
There's Mark Rolston as Drake.
Oh yeah,
which is ironic because earlier today I saw him in another film that's a request, a horror film called Asylum from 2008, where he plays like a wannabe like Freddy Krueger, like killer ghost doctor thing.
Oh God.
Another day in the Corps, a meal banquet. I love the Corps. You want me to fetch your slippers for you?
Oh, geez, would you start?
Look into my eyes. Of course, the middle finger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lance Henriksen. Yeah, Rico Ross there.
Yeah.
And Jeanette Goldstein. You ever been mistaken for a man? No. Have you?
So glad that they got her. Like the original chick that they cast was she seemed like a bit of a prima donna. She didn't want to use profanity, and she had so many objections to the script. And I'm like, they were like, well, fuck you, we'll get somebody else.
Exactly.
I bet that's like it's like the biggest regret of her life, I bet.
But Sivwin says, I like them. The pulse rifle is a Thompson submachine gun with a Remington 870 on the bottom, covered with a SPAS 12 pump for the grenade launcher.
Yeah, I remember there was I think they said it was like 5 shots, but then because they modified it, it was down to like only 3. I know the handgun, I think it's the one that Gorman has later, or maybe it's the one Vasquez has. I know like they don't make anymore. But they thought it looked futuristic, so they used it anyway.
What was it?
It was the handgun. It's either the one that Gorman has or the one that Vasquez has. I'm sure Silver Wings will let us know.
Yeah, Bill Paxton did a great job. And of course, he had worked with James Cameron on The Terminator as one of the punks. And he had just done bit roles. He was in a bit role as in Commando as the guy when he looked at the radar. I guess Weird Signs would have been his Bitter's role. Actually, I can't remember what. That might be before this, yeah. Weird Signs.
Yeah, it was. That was 85.
This Bill's. I miss Bill Paxton. I love his reaction. See, in the hands of a weaker actor, this could have been such an excruciating, annoying character that you can't wait to die. And we've seen that a lot of times afterward, where they have this type of character, you just want him to die. but he made him likable enough, energetic enough, given some really good lines. Why did you put her in charge?
Why did you put her in charge? That's fucking great,
That just
man.
makes it work.
Yeah, he does.
I miss Bill Paxton.
Me
He
too.
died way too soon and over
Yeah.
stupid circumstances.
Yeah, that was
Supposed to be. Yeah, go ahead.
no, I hated that, like, fucking surgery complications, and like it just it shouldn't have happened. You know, I mean, I miss him all the I'd love to see him in like a million more things, and he probably still would be acting. Um, that's why I love
Yep.
seeing him pop up and stuff later on like I think it was 2014 in Nightcrawler. He pops up. I was like, oh hey, there's Bill Paxton. This is great. I just didn't expect him to be in the movie, so like anytime he pops up on screen, it's a smile on my face.
Yeah, Bill Paxton, just underrated actor.
Improved a lot of lines as well. A lot of the ones we quote constantly and they're, iconic to this day. The game over, that was all him.
Yeah, of course. Apparently, what was it? Vasquez has a Browning high power. The VP-70 is also in this movie.
Okay.
And they say the pulse rifle is 10 millimeter caseless. We see cases ejecting from them. Demolition Man had the caseless gun, the G11. There you go.
Nice.
Of course, we went past the Lance Henriksen, who we find out was an android. So, of course, she is obviously paranoid after what she went through. Can't blame her for it.
No,
Getting
definitely not.
magazine down your throat because that movie's all about the. As we found out, watch it again. He bled semen. The magazine was his dick. It was all about the penis. So.
Yeah, that sped up knife scene. I think that might have been Paxton's idea to like have his hand under Lance Henriksen's hand, because originally it was just Lance that was going to knife.
No, I
knife
think it
trick.
was Lance's idea.
Lance's idea, right?
I would not want to hurt this guy. My prototype is not to hurt him, so I would be protecting him. Even if I stab, it would go through my hand, not Bill Paxton's hand. And he was in character, and it's like, well, I would be protecting him, so that's why the android puts his hand over Bill's hand. So even if the knife goes, it would be protecting him.
Yeah.
And yep, William Hope as Gorman was in Alien Isolation. That was a nice surprise when I played that. I'm like, this voice sounds familiar. He's like, well, the guy's running the station there, and I'm like, oh, it is William Hope. Okay, nice, nice little bit there.
Yeah. And
how do I get out of this chicken shit outfit?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean they don't take it serious at all. I mean they've probably been up against so many other things in the past that they're just like, this is nothing. Like,
it makes me wonder what else they've been up against. I mean, I don't know if any of the comics or stuff showcase that, but I'd be interested. Like, what were the early adventures of these characters? Like, what did they go up against? I wonder if they ever did that, like a Clone Marines prequel on these characters. Like, what adventures they went through before this. I don't want a movie of it. I just meant like comic books and stuff.
Yeah.
Or even I haven't done that.
Even a video game just with all the same characters, that would have been nice.
Well, they did a Clone Marines video game, but
there weren't.
I don't know about that.
I don't think it was all the same characters though from the movie.
No, I mean, I know of the game. That's when somehow Michael Biehn, they made alive by these very weird circumstances where there was another guy that also had the same bandage and went into the cryopod when he went out. It's just, It's a very weird story. It's a video game that they did.
Yeah.
I didn't play much of it, to be fair, so I can't judge it. It didn't look good to me. Put it that
Mm-hmm.
way. Aliens, Clone Marines.
Oh,
I don't know. To be fair, I haven't played it, so
the loaders, we didn't mention those.
yes.
Very well done. So much so that they actually fooled certain businesses back then, and they wanted to buy some, but they're like, "Hey, these aren't real." Like, like it's all guys in a suit, or I guess in this
Yeah.
scene right here, a girl and a guy in a suit moving in tandem.
Yeah, there's a guy behind her, right?
Yep. Yep.
I mean, would be interesting to be like another step up from forklifts. I mean, of
Mm-hmm.
course, you have to figure out how to do it, but it'd be an interesting thing to make.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like you may be able to have more control compared to a forklift if done right.
Mm-hmm. And I remember they destroyed the version that they had at like in the end scene. Um, when the queen gets like trapped under and like, and then it drops out of the ship and it's supposed to like free fall into outer space. Um, they ended up destroying it by mistake. Oh, and then I love that, they've got their own things on the writing on the side of the gun. Drake says my bitch, and
Of course.
Vasquez's gun says adios. And those were Steadicam mounts, like for cameras, but they attached the guns to them. So
Oh, on
that's
the Vasquez and Drake guns,
yeah.
those guns, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's very, very clever.
Yeah, it's yeah. Sadly, Michael Bean didn't get to do anything on his because he was put in last minute, so he couldn't go through that, like
Yeah.
decorating the material. Because I know
Mm-hmm.
he was confused, like, why is there a heart here? It seems like a target,
Yeah,
like,
he said he didn't like it. Yeah.
which makes sense because it's such bright red. People can see it clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's supposed to be camouflage. Here's this bright, red target. Oh, it's like at the wrong spot. Like, hey, I should shoot this guy in the heart. Hope you don't have a sniper rifle.
And they got to, yeah, not only customize their gear but customize the inside of their lockers right there, which is a small subtle touch. You barely see it, but just adds to
Yeah.
more and more never-ending detail in the film. There's so many little things.
And real quick, like Daryl Hardy says, "Don't kill me, Matt, but I love Aliens better than Alien. Rare that I like a sequel more than the original." Well, I don't know why I would kill you because I'm the same way. This is my favorite film, and it's my favorite in the franchise. And I love the original Alien, but this is my favorite. So if I kill
Yeah.
you, then I'd have to do me too. And thank you, Bobby, for your kindness, man. What if you're watching a fight and when a guy gets knocked down, they always hum during the falling down action? Then they deserve to get knocked down in the first place. If that's all they're thinking of is humming, they deserve to be knocked down and stay down. They need
Yeah.
to have better priorities. If they weren't thinking of that, then maybe they wouldn't be knocked down in the first place. Thank you, Bobby. Um, oh yeah, people got complained about Jeanette Goldstein because of PC. It didn't
Mhm.
bother me. I didn't give a shit.
No, I mean, it's not done to be disrespectful. It's just that's the way they wrote the character. And from what I
Yeah,
remember, that played into the friendship that she has with Drake. Um, you
yeah.
can clearly see that they have a friendship that's a little tighter than the other Marines. Um, and I think their backstory was like they grew up together in the slums or something like that. They both got drafted around the same time, and like
But it's like
they,
now people say, "Oh, Aliens is racist because of Jeanette Goldstein." Like, stupid
no,
shit.
no. Well, I mean, they
People are
clearly don't know
pussies,
anything about the movie. There's like there's a
and they're
reason for that.
pussies.
Well, that too.
The pussies. Jesus Christ. If they could be mad at that, I'll be mad. I don't know, white chicks or something.
Yeah, like
They can't
where's
have
the
no white people.
where's the hate for that?
Yeah. And yep, we did do a commentary on the resurrection, and it's still up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people in the chat. Yeah, it's not racist at all. Just people. It's like, when people called Apu on The Simpsons racist. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? This is like one of actually the more smarter characters and actually the more respectable characters, and you got rid of him because a couple people cried on Twitter like, "Baby, don't he's racist." So they like removed the Apu character from The Simpsons. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
You can't do anything anymore. Everything's racist.
Yet I think Phil Lamar voiced like a white character in that Kevin Smith He-Man show. No one cared. I don't care either. But that show
Yeah.
sucks anyway, so no one would care. But here's a scene that, I mean, many movies have this kind of scene. We'll see later on. I should say it's not there yet, but all the screens and when chaos is happening, you look at all the screens. We see a bit of that in Predator 2 with Derek Busey's group.
Mm-hmm.
Even Jurassic World with the invisible dinosaur. That scene.
Yeah.
Where it's this type of like equipment with all the cameras and everyone, seeing from everyone's point of view.
Yeah. Oh, here's another great scene that's special edition. They added back in.
Yeah, Bill Paxton's speech. You're bull breakers.
Bunch of
We got knives,
badasses. We got
chopsticks.
nukes.
We got knives. We got sharp sticks.
I wish they had gotten to use all that stuff. Like he brings it all up, and
Right.
they're so overconfident, like all the shit that they have, but they don't get to use half of it.
Do you think it's true that one of the reasons, like, that part of the script, just sometimes it's intentional, sometimes people look a bit too much into scripts.
Mm-hmm.
The whole Vietnam thing, you have your soldiers who are overconfident and they got the major technology, but they go up against a force that's much less technologically not advanced at all, but yet they're able to be defeated by this much more down to basics enemy.
Not necessarily. I
I mean,
think
I could see it though. I mean, I could see that being a case.
Yeah, it could be.
If people say that.
Could be, but I don't think so personally. I think it's more a showcase of like, I mean, of course they're aliens, but they don't
Illegal
have all.
aliens.
Oh God, he's gonna get canceled. But I know it's a line
There's
in
a
the
line
movie,
in the
but
movie.
still, I know.
She
But
meant
you know how
illegal
people
aliens.
are.
Sign up. Yeah. She meant
But
illegal aliens. Sign up.
that's a great line. I don't
Yeah.
care what anybody says. That's great. It's just that timing that he always has. But yeah, I mean, they're primal basically. I mean, and that's how powerful they are. Uh, all the
Yeah.
stuff that they do have at their disposal, weaponry wise, I mean, they've got the numbers on the Marines, which is sort
Mhm.
of the thing, argument you could use in Dawn of the Dead. It's like, oh, well, they're slow, but there's so many of them. Like, how do
Mhm.
you how do you fight so many? Like, you're going to have casualties in war, and you get quite a few before we even fully get into all the way into the second act, because so many people get killed so soon after the first
Mhm.
fight. So, which I don't even know if like the audience saw coming. I mean, I can only imagine the reaction that they had in the theater at the time. they're like, well, this, the whole movie's just gonna be one long big war because that's the way Cameron built it. Like he came up with the tagline, "This time it's war," and the studio loved it, and they're like, "All right, let's go with that. That's our marketing. That's on the poster." And you go in thinking that that probably will be the entire movie, but it's like you're dead wrong because they run into this like these unstoppable creatures seemingly. It's like that's
Hmm.
another thing that bugged me. Like you said, like, oh, they die too easy. Not you, but you said somebody else said that. That's been a complaint
Yeah,
about
why
the
they didn't
film.
like Aliens compared to Alien 3
That's
and other
bullshit,
stuff.
man. Like, no. I mean, look at all the damage that they do.
Oh, this is the scene where if you James Remar is
Mhm.
hits, and I think the scenes before outside in the rain.
There's that scene, and then there's another scene where they walk into the chamber, or I guess the nest for the
No, okay.
xenomorphs, and you see he's sort of like in center frame, but the way that
Hmm.
they cut it, like you can't really see his face. So you
Right.
just assume that it's Michael Biehn.
Well, I disagree with someone in the chat that says James Cameron's never made a bad film. We agree disagree. I'm not a Titanic guy, and I'm not an Avatar guy. I'm especially not an Avatar guy.
Understandable. Would you say that they're tech on a technical level that they're bad films? Just maybe not your cup of tea.
Technical, no.
Okay.
Technical, no. I just unobtainium. Get the fuck out of here. Like that's the big fucking thing. What do we call this thing? Unobtainium. And then Giovanni Ribisi, just put your trees. And then let's have sex by our hair plugged in like phones. Get the fuck out of here.
It's
Fucking
so
dances with
it's so
Fern
hot in
Gully.
here, like my water bottle is sweating. There's like water everywhere. I thought I spilled some, but like it's just water from the bottle because it's so hot in here.
And someone was asking like what do you think is the greatest scene in Aliens? That's tough. For me, it's either the fight between Ripley and the Queen,
Hmm.
or I would just her rescuing Newt in the nest and just laying waste to the aliens and beating the Queen for the first time and be in the middle of the eggs, like all that stuff. To be like as soon as like she steps out of the elevator and that shot where she has the pulse and fire flamethrower together and just rescuing Newt to her blowing up all the eggs and stuff. That's always seen that got me like a lot of stuff got, but I would say that's my favorite scene.
Um, that one, it's either that one for me or the scene when the sort of final attack on the last remaining large group of the
Oh yeah,
Marines with the red
that's a great
lighting.
one.
Yeah, I
That's a
mean,
great one too.
because there's almost like an obstruction of your vision to where like you can't see everything 100%, but you see what you need to see in the scene. Um,
Yeah,
and the fact that
that's
like
a great one.
Cameron, like the way he shot it, like he had the guys in the xenomorph suits like crawling on the floor, but like he flipped the camera over, so like he shot it upside down to give the illusion that they're crawling on the ceiling, and just so many other little things in that whole sequence, the timing of it and everything. Like it's very intense. And I know that even like when it played originally in theaters, like that was one of the tensest scenes in the film. Like people were just going nuts because like it's probably even more xenomorphs than the first attack that we have,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
and it's hard to see. So like people were frightened. So I mean, to anybody that says like there's no horror in it or anything, I mean there is. I mean, imagine being you forget like they're in a sealed room. They have essentially locked themselves inside with the xenomorphs, which is even more terrifying. Like there's so many coming in and they can't even get out. They have to cut their way out.
Hmm.
partially thanks to Burke.
Yeah, exactly.
All this is so awesome.
There's more of that, yeah, the acid for blood. There you go. People were mentioning the chat for in the first film. There you go in the second film.
Mm-hmm.
See how many floors it went through. All the greats. Yeah, area secure my ass.
That was also part of their undoing in a way. Of course, they're overconfident, but I mean, Gorman really fucked up. He was clearly a noob. Vasquez was like, "What the fuck? Like, why do we have this guy like telling us what to do?"
Yeah, they set him up as a noob because he even says, how many combat drops? What, like 2, including this one, or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah, and they like look at
So,
each other like, "This guy really?"
but I mean, that reminds me again of the many other war pictures, in particular Vietnam, when they didn't know what they were doing, and then they would drop bombs on their own people, like the scene in this film. I think it's underrated, called Hamburger Hill,
Oh
where
yeah.
they they realize their own helicopters are dropping on their own people, and they're trying to call them off. And just shit intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be the CIA or the KFC or the 8 other places Steven Seagal works for. Maybe that's who fucked it up. Take care, Bobby. Have a good night.
Later, Bobby.
And of course, we saw that was another for the special edition. Her hesitating going into the compound. That was done in the theatrical cut.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this. I mean, I would imagine you've seen some films where they're very long, like especially films nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And would it be true to say that sometimes some of them may be very boring? At least like the first hour or so, maybe.
Um,
At least some of them.
some of them, yeah.
What makes it that? What do you think this film does well? Where, like, okay, we're almost an hour in, and we haven't really seen any xenomorphs, really any aliens, other than this face hugger coming up, but like no xenomorphs, and yet it still works. Still works very well.
I think the first film plays a lot into it where you know what to expect, but given the title and maybe even the trailer, you know what's coming. But let's say you haven't seen the trailer, just based off the title and the setting, it's the anticipation for me. And of course, so many little things along the way. A great cast of characters and actors as well, where they have you want to see them engage. You can't wait for that to happen. Like there's that anticipation of it happening because like these guys, I mean, Paxton sells it really well. Like they're a bunch of badasses and stuff. So you're like, oh, this is going to be great. Um, and definitely you want to see Ripley get her revenge. Um, so I would say the best answer without going on and on and on because I could give a million reasons, but anticipation, I would say, and the delivery is worth it. So that once you see the film and you think about everything in hindsight, you're like, man, wow, that was pretty interesting. So like you want to go back to see it again because the build up is going to be worth it. The ride that they're taking you on is worth taking. You
The
know that
payoff
like
is successful.
exactly. Um,
Payoff is successful.
Yeah, Spielberg said that too, like that the ideas that he had given Cameron for Aliens, which I thought sucked. No disrespect to Spielberg, I love Spielberg, but like his ideas kind of
What
sucked.
idea?
So one of the main ones was that he wanted to. He told Cameron, he's like, "Well, make it so that the xenomorph is sympathetic, and that like the I know the cast that you have is like they're the real monsters, and like the audience is going to feel bad for the xenomorph." And there was a couple of other things. That was the main thing though that stood out, and I was like, that's the shittiest thing ever. And Spielberg said it. Spielberg was like, I was so wrong. I'm so glad you didn't listen to me and you did your own thing. That would not have worked at all.
When was this? Did Spielberg like talk about aliens in some kind of Q&A or something, or did James
um
Cameron tell the
I
story? Or
remember this was Cameron, Spielberg, and I think it was J.J. Abrams. It was
hmm.
some kind of Q&A, or they were all on a stage. I remember that. I guess it was a Q&A or a Comic-Con or some shit. I don't know. But I just remember that was a long time ago I saw that video. But yeah, like they were all talking about aliens, and Spielberg was just like, I was so wrong. I'm glad you didn't listen to me.
He certainly was.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh man.
That's a
It's
stupid idea.
yeah.
That's a shit idea.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like we're not making you can't have everything be like ET, you know? Like we don't need the sympathetic alien. This isn't Starman, which I like ET and Starman, but this is a whole different kind of beast. Oh, that's reoccurring thing. Somebody biting hands. Cameron did that a lot. That was in
Oh yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis, I think, bites Tia Carrera in
mm-hmm,
True Lies.
mm-hmm. Michael Bang gets bitten Terminator.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, of course, this is Terry Henn. I think the only film she did.
And this whole like thing right here is really cool. The whole set.
Yeah,
I think
guess they
most
thought she
of
was too
these.
dirty. She was too dirty for him to get. I guess she's too dirty.
um, yeah, but most of these sets were used in Batman, from what I remember. So next time you
Really?
go back, the um, the Burton '89 one, there's some shots where like I think it's not this particular one, but later on when you see like the big nest and stuff, and there's a couple other spots like they just like were still there, and then somehow they ended up using some of them in Batman. Um,
Hmm.
might have been to save money, but they just Fox didn't, they didn't get rid of them. They just kept them.
Yeah. But yeah, 1986, this came out, and I would say that's easily one of my favorite movie years, just for me personally, because I just looked at the films that came out that year that became like personal favorites of mine. This film,
Mm-hmm.
of course, Big Trouble in Little China, one of my favorite John Carpenter films. Firewalkers, my favorite Chuck Norris movie. The Golden Child, which is my favorite Eddie Murphy movie. Cobra, which is one of my favorite Stallone movies. Maximum Overdrive, which is one of my favorite movies involving Stephen King. As coked up as it is, I love every bit of it. Uh, Star Trek 4, my favorite Star Trek film. Uh, just so many movies this year. The Fly remake that I just love and just truly enjoy. Just easily. Oh yeah, Howard the Duck. Yeah, sure, that's one of my favorites. Yeah, not that one. That would that would eat my ass. I never liked that movie. I always thought it sucked, but well, a lot of people did too. But yeah, it just was always one of my favorite years. 1986. Sometimes it's hard to pick a favorite year of movies, but that's definitely up there for me. For me, just
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, there was a
Yeah.
lot of Coke and Master Overdrive, and not the well, maybe the Coca Cola, but God love it. Please bring back the cocaine. I'll take more movies of those. But sorry, go ahead.
I mean, there have been a lot of movies made on cocaine that turned out really well. So Scarface is another one. I always remember hearing
Yeah.
about that.
Slasher Fred says, I think one of my sequels this one so I kind of say you take an original story and sort of recreate it but in a whole different way for that follow up. Yeah, makes sense. Uh someone said too many movies, hello there. Says, would you rather follow Sarah Connor or Ellen Ripley into battle? Um
Hmm.
for me, Ellen Ripley.
Yeah, I guess I'd say, well, God, I mean, that's such a tough one only because, by the time, and I'm assuming he means like T2, Linda
Right.
Hamilton. Um, I mean, I love Terminator, but I mean, she was pretty useless in the first film, but becomes a badass later
But
on.
it makes sense though.
Yeah, it makes sense, definitely. Um, yeah, I don't know. That's a
The only
tough.
reason the reason I put Ellen Ripley's Sarah Connor is very good, but she's a little bit hot headed,
Hmm.
and that's one of her arcs by the end of T2. She doesn't decide to kill Joe Morton,
Hmm.
but it seems like Ellen Ripley thinks a little bit more about the situation. But yeah, I enjoy both. Don't get me wrong. And yes, Silverines, The Hitcher, another great '86 movie. I absolutely adore The Hitcher.
Same here.
One of my
Love,
favorites.
love the Hitcher.
I don't know where the 4K has disappeared apparently into thin air. That was supposed to happen, but
Hopefully, it still does.
whatever.
That's gonna sell really well. I know the Umbrella edition has like sold out. They might still have the standard one, but that limited one is long gone.
Right. Goddamn town meeting. Yep, I even love Jumpin' Jack Flash in '86. Whoopi Goldberg, my favorite Whoopi Goldberg film. You see this face? It's a face of a woman on the edge. Oh, my wife has that same face. Now you got a choice. Do you
That
want to
that's your
work here
that's your
or do
favorite
you
one.
want to live?
What about
Whoopi Goldberg?
yeah? What about
Yeah,
Burglar or Ghost or some of those other ones?
I like Ghost, but
Hmm.
she's good in that. But I guess I think of it more of Patrick Swayze's movie. I just like where she stars in, and I
Yeah.
don't mind Burglar. It is what it is. But Jumpin' Jack Flash I found funnier.
Okay.
And I like Sister Act as well, but I didn't. Jumpin' Jack Flash just gave me the most laughs out of her before she got on The View and got weird. Like all those ladies on The View are fucking weird.
No, Karina.
She
Karina.
sucks on The View. All those people on The View suck. They got, I don't know if it's brainwashing or that was their true colors or revealed or whatever. I don't know. Just just fucking weird, that show. I'll say that. That's just me. I think that show sucked.
Again, the lighting here is so good.
Absolutely.
That was all obviously done by design. Like the further they go in, the more like they essentially rely on all the lighting on their equipment to see everything, which again just adds more the eerie atmosphere, and you can't see everything.
Oh God, really? Malivore, fucking Disney. It has to be. So apparently, a company called Little Golden Book has made A is for Alien, an ABC book, a book for all ages, featuring the characters of from Alien. It introduces the alphabet from A to Z. A lighthearted reimagining of Alien for young and old. Because that's what Alien is. It's a lighthearted reimagination for little kids. Fucking Disney. Jesus Christ.
You got to make that
They
money.
don't know. Yeah, yeah, they lost a shitload of money last year. Indiana Jones 5 losing like 300 million. The Marvels using they lost a couple billion. They need to make that money. Fucking pricks. Fucking
Speaking of
pricks.
losing money, I know they needed a hit at the time when they were like trying to make this. So this
Yeah,
probably is one of those films that helped save Fox.
for a while.
Yeah. And oh man, I
Yeah,
think
this made like yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I think we missed the scene with James Remar. I was gonna point it out, but I think we missed it. It's okay. Go ahead though.
Okay. No, I was just gonna say that no, I was just gonna comment on the way the set looks with all the cocoon and all the I don't even know what you call it, all the stuff on the walls. Some nice tension into the whole scenario.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as the viewer, you know that like it's coming, like it's all about to go crazy in a minute, because you're seeing the familiar. Well, I guess that wasn't exactly in Alien that way, but like just the design of it,
Right.
like you know that they're getting closer.
And talk about bad luck. Like lo and behold, it's like you can't fire the weapons there.
Right.
Because some people are like, fuck that, and they kept it.
And some of the wide
Although they
shots
fired
of
quite a
them,
bit, it didn't do anything. So I guess they could have.
yeah, they did. Some of the wide shots, though, I know a lot of that was like miniatures, but again, you can't tell. Just the lenses that they used and the way they shot it, it goes in perfectly.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you, Rudy. Appreciate it, man. Love Aliens, my favorite of them all. My favorite as well, man.
Yep.
Oh, no problem, man. Nothing to apologize for. Your brief thoughts on running around and making another Strangers film. Why? It's the question. Let alone a trilogy. Because people were really looking forward to more Strangers movies. Yep. That was a franchise people were waiting with bated breath. Can we please have like this trilogy of home invasion films that we've never seen before? And please, fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I'd rather he be doing something else. An original movie, whether it be horror or action or both. Um,
Yeah.
I don't need more Strangers movies. At least
The
they're all
second one I
done.
didn't hate, but it's not something I need more of.
Yeah, and I know that there's people that love the first one, and like they hate the second one, and then it's vice versa. Like some people love the second one and hate the
Yeah.
first one. I like the second one more. I thought that one was a bit
Same.
more of a fun watch, and it just yeah, it's not something that needs to be a franchise. I'm glad he did it all in one shot. If he was going to do it, it's not going to take up like 5 years of his life. But it's all three films are done. I think they're going to come out in like a few like month increments, like over the span of this year, from what they originally said. Who knows if that's still the plan?
I'm
We'll see how the first one does
I'm
in theaters.
I'm sure they'll do well.
Yeah. I did recently see him say that he's going to make like a long cut and like splice all three films together. I'm sure that's not going to come out in the theater, but definitely available for like a home video release or something.
Yay.
Yeah, so like 4.5 hour cut of the Strangers trilogy. So look forward to that, Matt. That's gonna be on your Christmas wish list.
Yeah, same with new butt plug. I'd rather have a butt plug than that.
Okay, here we go.
Yep.
I
And
love
someone asked him. Sorry,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. No,
You go
someone
ahead.
was asking in the chat your favorite Michael Bean Cameron role. It would be Hicks, absolutely Hicks here. This
Mhm.
character.
Same.
Maybe doesn't have the most dialogue, but he's got the presence, he's got the stature. He's in there when push comes to shove, especially with that shotgun for close encounters.
Yep.
And here they've startled the nest.
Hmm. The little arms on the the little baby Xeno is great. And that was not on
Yeah,
the original. Um, I know that's one of those things Cameron added in. He wanted more of um, a look that's like closer to what they originally become. So like the one that bursts out of Kane's chest in the first film, it doesn't have arms. There's no little arms moving around. But that's such a cool little effect, and it's all mechanics,
yeah.
just little like mechanical arms moving around. Then they toss all the
Okay.
blood on it and then shoot the scene, and then like you got the fire stunt with it. And I think they said they did that like in one take. Like they could only do it once. I mean, they had only built it for that one time. The actress was live cast of her, and they
Yeah.
put her in the wall and everything, and they nailed it right in one shot.
But hi there, Peter Freakout. We're doing well, enjoying this film. And hey there, Andy Sullivan. We're still watching it. We're 1 hour and 14 minutes and 2 seconds as the shit is ready to hit the fan. As Xenomorph gets his lady,
Yep.
smelled the poontang,
It
went right for it.
woke him up.
Woke him out of the wall.
I love the slow mo here.
But yeah, someone mentioned before, yeah, just even the unique sound effects of the pulse rifle, like to make that such a unique sound,
Hmm.
still memorable to this day. I mean,
Yeah.
just the sound of a weapon shows what even the little bits they paid attention to make it
Hmm.
memorable. It was, let's rock.
Yeah, when they were doing the sound mixing, I know they got annoyed with him again because he wanted the guns to sound very specific. So they spent a long time trying to get the gun sound effects right. Thankfully, over the years, that hasn't changed because I know there's other films where they've like restored the movie and they'll change the sound of gun sound effects. And best example I mentioned this movie earlier was Scarface. Like if you watch the older version of it on DVD, like the gun that they uses at the end, I think it's an M60 with the grenade launcher. Um, it sounds one way on that version. Then you watch like the newer, like the 4K or even the
Hmm.
Blu-ray that they did like I don't know 5 or 10 years ago. Um, it sounds completely different.
Hmm.
So that's one of
Okay.
those little things I hope they never change.
And yeah, I've seen the behind the scenes on this. It was on the Blu-ray set. Very well done, lengthy documentary for all the films, actually, the first four. And no, I'm not getting that $100 bullshit documentary. $100 for Blu-ray. Get the fuck out of here. The soldier's gone. Get the fuck out of here. There you go, Ripley.
Total
Take
Meltdown,
charge.
is that the 4K version? Are you talking about on the Blu-ray? Because none of the audio tracks that I've ever heard for Aliens has changed the gun sound effects. So which one are you talking about? I know you said the 5.1, but
Well, does it say Terminator? It says Terminator Mark. The 5.1
okay,
totally.
yeah, I totally missed that
Yeah, it
Terminator.
says Terminator.
Okay. Sorry, I have the movie like floating over my head, and I see
That's
half
fine.
the
I see it
comments.
here. Yeah, it says Terminator Mark. The 5.1 totally changes the
Okay,
gun sound effects and it sucks ass. So is that the Blu-ray?
I guess
Terminator
so.
Blu-ray. Yeah, he says Terminator. Well, shit. No, what's fucking doing that?
Well, there you go.
That's why
That's
you
another
gotta
one.
always keep all your shit. Yeah, start keeping your DVDs, man.
Hmm.
And seriously, like, as long as they last. Dude, they keep changing shit. That's why you gotta keep your. It's a good idea to keep your old stuff. That's why, like, I know people sell their new stuff. A lot of times, people sell their older stuff right away.
Hmm.
I never do, and I think that's a mistake to do that because of stuff like that. Because you don't know what will be changed.
Hmm.
I'm not saying it happens all the time. It might even happen rare times, but it does happen.
Yeah.
Granted, you just buy it again unless it's out of print, of course. But
Hmm. I love how they,
here's Drake.
yeah, I love how they accomplish all that with the xenomorph. They had those like
Yeah,
chemical compounds that like mix together. When they do mix after they get shot, it creates the smoke effect. So it's acid, or it makes it seem like
yeah,
acid. Oh man, that's amazing. Just sprayed right in the
yeah. It
face.
worked. Yeah, Burke, do something.
Yeah,
Forget him, he's gone.
yeah. Drake is fucked. His whole body is melted at this point.
And of course, coming up is why you have the shotgun for close encounters.
Hmm.
Good badass moment for Hicks. Eat this. There you go.
Such a great line. So good. And then I know Bane said they fucked that scene up a million times. They kept trying to get that right. He kept missing with the shotgun. And we have Stephen Norrington to thank for that. Him and
Hmm.
that other effects guy, they worked on that forever, trying to get that to work correctly with the alien poking his head in. For those of you that don't know, Stephen Norrington, who went on to direct Blade, was an effects guy. He was on the crew in this film, um,
Mm-hmm.
and worked on a few other movies. That Go
Split
ahead.
second.
Yeah.
Rutger Hauer after
Hmm.
this. He worked on The Creature.
Hmm.
And yeah, he would direct Death Machine, Blade, and League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
The classic.
And it just he rearranges James Horner's score, just fits the film so well
Yeah,
in so many of the scenes.
and adds like the perfect like tension in the setting. Like it's just right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then I didn't mention those were remote control miniatures. The APC turning the corner, right there as well. All miniature work, but looks so good you can barely even tell.
Yeah, I
They're
mean,
they
you
weren't
can't get more
actually,
real than real.
yeah, and they weren't actually driving. I know a lot of people probably think they were, but I know that it goes really slow. The actual one that they did have and build the APC unit when they built it, like it goes really, really slow. And so some scenes when they were like it was driving, like they had to shoot it at a lower frame rate, and then Cameron just like sped it up to 24 frames, and then it made it look like it's driving faster than what it is.
Mm. I know I think everyone's man like, oh, they left the man behind. But hey, if he's belted that much, I'm like, sorry, dude, you shall.
Yeah, I'll say he's
And
not a
that they say
man
here,
anymore. He's a pile of like bones and blood.
and like they say here, there's some of them want to go back. It was like they're being cocooned like the others.
Hmm.
Guts will get you so far, and then it'll get you killed, as they say in the film Speed.
That's right. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, they want to go back, but they know that like it's suicide at that point. you're not
Oh
going to
yeah.
make it back out. I mean, they barely made it out with the entire team the first time around. You're going to go back in there with less people? That's crazy.
If the
Oh,
Siphon Orb is the only way to be sure.
and here comes Burke. He's got to add his 2 cents. Whoa, 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 whoa. We can't just eradicate this species. We can't do that. It's like, that's what you were there for. He's showing his true colors now.
But Ripley goes back for Newt. Well, they don't. It's it's one thing if you see a guy like half his face melted.
Mm-hmm.
It's another where she just disappears, and I buy more also with Ripley. I think that becomes the big irony is that a lot of these soldiers, lo and behold, the non-soldier is the one that ends up on top because she's dealt with the species before.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Mr. Heavy Metal Hero Dude, we're doing well, and we're at 1 hour, 22 minutes, and 56 seconds. Paul Rise would be more of a dick here,
Yeah.
like the rest of the film.
He's just a grunt.
He's just a grunt. Yeah, he's just. It's the only way to be sure.
That's right.
Just do it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, her going back for Newt, that's more of like you said, it's the guy's melted completely, and even the ones that are already being cocooned, there was still that chance that Newt wasn't cocooned yet. And she had already lost a daughter once before. By the end of the film, they'd grown so close together. I'm sure that I'm not losing her too. And and that's also what Cameron wanted with Mother versus Mother, the Queen versus Ripley, both trying
Well,
to
also, I think
defend
her
their young.
mentality also at that point was like, I got nothing left to lose.
That too, yeah.
Either I get her, or you guys leave, and
Mm-hmm.
if I die, if you die, if she dies, she dies. If I die, I die. What a imagine having a name like Spunkmeyer. God, that'd be so depressing. What's your name? Spunkmeyer.
Well, the other guy's name was it Where's Bowski or something?
Where's Bowski? Where's Bowski? And it hit the fan yet again. There you go.
Yep.
When it rains, it pours.
Another fantastic effect,
Yeah.
which
Can't catch
today
a break.
would cost like $50 million. But
Yeah, and mostly CGI.
mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that kills me. I get that, prices go up for things, of course. They're not the same as 86, of course. But the fact that movies are getting more expensive and they look less realistic, that's what kills me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it should be the
They
other
get
way
more
around.
expensive and they look less real. No wonder people don't go to movie theaters anymore.
Well, I mean, also like it's a little bit of that is the studio. Like they don't, to them they think it's more of a gamble with certain stuff, and I guess maybe they don't have faith in certain filmmakers to get it right or pull it off. And there's also the fact that uh Cameron, I think he said it was a year and a half they spent like working on the movie, like
Mm-hmm.
all together, like pre-production. Of course, after principal photography, the shooting and all that stuff, and then you get into post. But I mean, that's a long time for a production, and I
Also,
mean,
you have a generation of filmmakers that don't even know how to do that kind of movie.
mhm.
Like we're at now going through a generation of filmmakers Many would not even know how to make a film like this
No,
nowadays.
no, they wouldn't.
They wouldn't know.
Yeah, and
They wouldn't find their ass if they had 3 hands along with the 3 tits of that lady in Total Recall. They couldn't find their ass with all the hands.
yeah, it's like going back to the Corman days. I mean, that's part of why he got everything done. He had no idea how he was going to make any of this stuff work, but
Yeah.
the rule on set was don't tell him no, and not because like he's trying to be an asshole. It's like we're going to get this made, and we're going to do anything to accomplish that without going over budget, without doing a ton of CGI. Let's do it all in camera, and we'll figure out how to make it work. There's always a way to make anything work. Yeah, yeah, a lot of directors don't have that type of ingenuity or. Yeah, this is the best.
Why you put her in charge? Again, like I said before, most movies, this type of character would be so annoying you want them to die, but in
Mhm.
this, want them to live.
Yes.
I get that he died, but I would have been fine if he lived, man.
Yeah. I mean, but just like in Predator 2, he goes out like a badass. I mean, he goes
Yeah,
out shooting at the enemies. I mean, you
yeah.
can't be mad at that.
But yeah, I mean, you mentioned Roger Corman. Yeah, he get his productions made, and just James Cameron. Uh, he worked on Galaxy of Terror on the effects, and
Mhm.
I think he worked on some effects in Escape from New York as well.
Yeah, I've heard that. Like I know specifically in Galaxy of Terror, you can see some of his effects work, like specifically in the ship, like the walls and stuff. He did a lot of that, and I mean, hell, you got to give the man credit. Like he was a visionary, amongst filmmakers back in his time. I mean, to go from, I think he was like a truck driver at first, like initially before he got in the film business, gets into the business, and then, um, starts to learn every aspect of it, and starting at one of the lowest levels of him doing consulting on small things, then like art direction, and then the art department, and then making models and even drawing. I mean, he drew the Queen alien, um, and then Stan Winston, him and his team put it all together. So yeah, that's the kind
Civil
of thing
Wings.
you don't get from
Yeah,
filmmakers
sorry, go ahead.
now. Just that type of
Yeah.
creativity. Again, that's when he was at his
Someone's
peak.
asking. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that's when he was at his peak. I'm not going to vouch for the Cameron of today. That's not that's not the kind of stuff I'm into. But is what it is. Go ahead though. Sorry.
No, I say Civil Wings was asking, is there any reason they don't go outside and open to see the aliens coming from far away and snipe them? Well, the way I took it was it wouldn't really matter because they have to figure out a way to get off this rock regardless because the whole thing's going to blow up. And I guess you'd say maybe you get Bishop to do it and then leave.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they could do that. But at the same time, I don't know how long the conditions are great out there. Obviously, they could survive out there for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But then also, I don't know how clear it is since they're wide in the open. How many are there? Also, I mean, if there's like
Yeah.
100 of them or 70 of them,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if stipend. And plus, with all the wind, and it doesn't seem like it's very clear
The wind, the
weather to be able to
rain.
see the distance.
Exactly. Like, would you see them coming? Could they sneak up on you? I mean, they still don't exactly know what they're dealing with 100%. I mean, they know that they, like Paxton said, they got their ass kicked. They know that, but they still don't
And it
know what
doesn't
else
look like they really
they
have
do.
any sniping weapons anyway. They got the pulse.
That's true. Yeah.
They have like a couple pulse rifles. little bit of flamethrower, a handgun. They don't really have anything to snipe anyway. They do list like they have a very limited amount of weapons left.
And ammo. And I mean, fortification was the best option. Sealing everything off, setting up turret guns. Um, I mean, it all worked
Just so
until it
they
didn't.
miss some
But
important details, like the roof or the ceiling, I should say.
that's right. Something they missed, which they come to the
Yeah.
recollection way too late. Something we missed. I don't know. We didn't miss anything. Yeah, you did.
Not Dens. I think the aliens they'll. I mean, even if they see people with guns, you see that they'll just go towards them anyway. This hive mind where it's almost as if it doesn't matter if they live or die as long as they satisfy their queen, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why they were, I think, given the name of warrior Xenos.
Yeah. Now, Pred, I don't need a subtitle for this movie. I think Aliens works perfectly. It fits, and it's simple. And hey, you have more than one aliens, thus aliens. To me, it's most simple but perfect title for it.
Not Alien 2. Which
On Earth.
he hated Alien 2. It's like, it's not Alien 2, it's Aliens.
And there was an Alien 2 called Alien 2 on Earth, some bad Italian horror movie. Have you seen that one?
I've seen the cover. Never watched it. Though. That's
and I'm missing much.
Yeah, I know. I just looking at the images and stuff. I think I might have seen a trailer once. I don't ever need
The
to.
end is like in a bowling alley, and the POV must be like someone's butthole coming towards someone, and a good chunk of the movie is like in caves, like a crappy version of The Descent before The Descent came out.
Wow.
So, it's like they like rip off the chest burster kind of, but then you have them being controlled. It just, other than some gore, is a pretty boring as hell movie. I think it was one of those like cheap Italian movies.
Mm-hmm. It makes me think, how the hell did Burke get those face huggers out of the canisters, drain the water? They didn't attack him. And like he did all that without them waking up. I know she hadn't slept for a long time. And yeah, she could be in deep sleep and all that. But how the fuck did he pull that off? And nobody saw him do it. Nobody was wondering like where Burke was, or like, I don't know.
Well, to be fair, they never asked where Burke is anyway. Like they never do. So he could have just wandered off because he does. It's like he's pretty worthless to them for the most part. It seems.
That's another scene added back in.
Yeah. But are the face huggers like that liquid? Is it something that like because they don't really move much at all unless you get very close? Does this like sedate them in a way or something, or make them slower until they finally like, wake up from it? Because you see, they don't move. They're not like wiggling around trying to escape or anything.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. Like that would have been something that would have probably been explained if the movie already wasn't so long. But
like,
I
how
could
did they
only
get in there in the first place?
Right. How could they have captured them? I don't know. It's a good question. And then I guess maybe it's part of like they only sense movement because clearly like the face huggers don't have eyes, so they just sense movement and they don't move unless something like I guess is organic or anything moves near them, then they sort of run toward it. And you know.
Can you drug a face hugger, or can you zap like knock it out like a face hugger?
Well, then wouldn't the needle like melt if you try to inject it with something? Like, wouldn't it? You know, because the acid for blood.
True. Would it melt quick enough before liquid goes in?
Probably whatever you injected would probably just be eradicated by the blood.
I mean, like if it's like if it's a, I don't know. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
No, I know we're nerding out here a little bit,
Yeah.
but I mean it's an interesting thought. Um, but I would just say offhand no, just because the blood is the perfect defense.
Maybe
It
they
does,
fried it, knocked itself out. I don't know.
oh
Maybe
yeah,
electricity. I don't know.
that yeah. I mean always you know they just use bullets and fire mostly, but yeah, zapping it to knock it out to you know not kill it but preserve it would have been the way to go. So maybe they did like zap it with something. Um, as you heard Burke said, like they're worth millions to the bioweapons division. So
Hmm.
now you see what this was mostly about. It was all about getting um, those species back. It also would mean that like Burke was sort of a deep cover operative in a way because like the team, you know, when she has the meeting at the beginning, she tells them like her whole story and they're like, "Oh, bullshit, whatever." But he knows that they already exist. It's part of why he wanted to go back out there was to bring back.
I think
And
I
so
think there's a comic book, either it came out or is coming out,
mhm.
that's supposed to be told from Burke's point of view.
Hmm, that's interesting. Love to see that.
I think Paul Reiser has a hand in either, I don't know, writing it or something like that.
Hmm.
I remember reading about that.
Because like if they had already um the crew that was there had already captured some of the face huggers, then they would have obviously reported back, or maybe that's what they were there to do initially. Like they
Oh, it's a
went, go ahead.
sorry, it's a what if. It's a comic book called What If, which is what was the title? What if Carter Burke had lived? Written by Paul Reiser along with his
Mm,
son. So it's a comic book What If. Okay. Released by Marvel. So the Marvel What If, but since they own aliens, I was like, what if in the aliens universe?
that's cool. Hmm. Hudson's just losing it again.
I mean, we did mention about that, Cam. I think, like I said, the it's never really been about the kills, the gore, even though the Chestburst is violent. That's never really been the theme with the aliens. Is more about the environment, the characters, the hopeful suspense, all that other stuff. And in
Mm-hmm.
this case, some of the action. It's always been more about that than them killing someone like a slasher film or something.
Yeah. Hung 100 has an interesting theory. He says he thinks that Bishop was working with Burke and he helped him release the face huggers. You think that's possible?
I disagree with that
Yeah, I don't see anything in this
because
character that would lend to that idea, but yeah, I don't think so.
yeah, I would disagree with that. I don't think Bishop had anything to do with it. I mean, he even tells Ripley what Burke wanted, and
Mm-hmm.
well, Burke said this. Like he, like blatantly told her,
Yeah.
so he would have, especially with his programming to protect human life, and I think Burke would know that. and so he wouldn't want to risk that. And now that Bishop's gone here, I mean, you think it'd be between here and then as the when Bert did all this, because you see he's not in the room. I
Yeah,
don't
and
think he is.
I think it was probably easy to manipulate Bishop, at least when it comes to the analysis stuff. Because he says like, "Oh, Burke was very specific about it." So he probably just told him like, "Hey, study these things, help us figure out maybe like how we can defeat them, like or something like that." He could have just told him something like that, and it went that in that direction to where like Bishop thought he was doing the right thing. But I don't think that he would have helped him release the face huggers though, because like he said a minute ago, he's synthetic, but he's not stupid. He knows that that's only going to create more xenomorphs and more problems.
Yeah, the seals you just have like your peanut butter, just loosen it up, then just run off, and then they'll just release it, and really all you hear is the water splution, and I doubt you'd hear that in the other room. The water,
Mm-hmm.
like you put it like on the side, you have it
Mm-hmm.
loosened, maybe even like tap it or something, get the hell out of there, close the door.
Yeah.
Stay frosty. But stay frosty. Frosted Flakes, Frosted Snowman. Of course. Cool, calm, collected.
That's right.
Don't lose your shit.
Corporal.
That's double for you, Hudson.
Yeah, so like that much I could believe is that like she would have been knocked out. She hadn't had sleep in at least 24 hours.
Yeah.
And because like he would have had to have come in to remove the gun. Um and the doors are not quiet when they open, so I could see like him getting away with that.
Well, yeah, he took the gun first, put it there, locked the door,
Mm-hmm.
put him on the side, loosen it, do like one or two taps, get the hell out, close the door, whatever, and be the chicken shit that he is. This would be like so claustrophobic. I don't know if I could ever do that type of thing
Yeah.
that Bishop does. That's so claustrophobic.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could have one of these pulse rifles. I know like you can technically get, but they're made out of I don't know, like not just plastic, of course. I mean like a metal, like everything metal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure maybe you could, but it'd be expensive as hell. But anytime I looked for one, this is like years ago,
Mm-hmm.
it was always like this cheaper looking plastic. And it looks like metal, but then if you get it in person, it's like it looks like fucking plastic.
Gorman's
Gorman.
he's awake. I love that little look she gives him. Like, you useless prick. Like, you got Drake killed, motherfucker, and you're sleeping.
You wanted to fire real bullets too? I just to me just to have as just a like a mantelpiece, like a metal one, even if it doesn't fire, just like I barely collect that kind of stuff, but just to have like holding my hands, just kind of like a memento made of metal. I don't know, just memento, like I said, mantelpiece. I don't know how else to word it, and not that cheap plastic one.
I did find a guy online who he made he made the gun you're talking about, but I think he also made Silver Wings. Help me out, man. The gun that Arnold uses in the first Terminator, the silver one with the long laser on it. Like he made that one,
Long
and
slide.
yeah, and like the laser actually works on the gun and everything. It was pretty cool, but
Hmm.
yeah, like I don't remember if it had the little LED light screen on the side to count down for the bullets
Mhm.
or anything. But
Mm.
I know the Terminator gun that he used was that one was
Hmm.
pretty authentic, and it looked like it had some real weight to it and everything.
Yeah, cool.
Um, yeah, I'll check back and I'll let you know if he still sells it, because that was like one of the best ones that I had seen.
Nice. Cause yeah, it's just like it's like the AMT hardballer. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
But it's like, yeah, you see these people make them and they're like $700-800, but then they're just cheap looking plastic. Or it's like, no, and then fuck that. If I don't pay that much, I want like metal. I want
Hmm.
like how it would be in the movie and shit.
Like you'd think that like they would have made one of those by now, because it's it's such a iconic thing. I mean, they've made damn near everything else from this movie. I mean, hell, you could buy the damn face huggers. They're like the same size as the ones in the movie. The egg
Mm.
as well. Like there's so many different props that like have come out
Well,
over the
maybe they'd be
years.
like, oh, it's view like a real gun, and you'd be like sell an actual weapon, and they just how people think.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Of course, we have the big face hugger scene here.
Mhm.
Andy Sullivan, we're 1 hour 40 minutes and 35 seconds in the special edition. Fucking Burke.
He's like, I'll just turn this monitor off real quick. He's sweating bullets in the corner.
So as we're watching this,
Mhm.
your thoughts on everybody dying in the next one? Who live?
Oh,
Because you see these
Alien 3?
characters, you see these characters, you
Mhm.
see all that they go through. 3 of them make it. Well, technically 4 Bishop make it by the end,
Mhm.
and then the next one, nah. 3 of the 4 pretty much. Well, Bishop is later, but pretty much 3 or 4 of them are dead at 5 minutes in.
Mhm.
Artistic. It's challenging.
I hated it. It's part of the reason why I don't like the movie. Um, you take great characters that you could have actually used in the next movie and you kill them off for really no reason. Um, well, that's the thing. So, was one reason possibly could they not get Michael Bain back for the third one? I've
No,
never
he
heard him
he was
talk
willing to
about.
do it.
Was he okay?
He was willing to do it. He wanted to do it. In fact, I mean, the hell, they paid him more money to use his picture than what he got paid for this.
It's
But
a
they didn't
great
ask
job.
him.
Yeah, that's
They
bullshit.
didn't ask him back. They wanted the story of just Ripley by herself, either with the monks or the wooden planet or whatever the case. And in order to have her by herself,
Mhm.
they're like, "Oh, we'll kill the rest of them."
It's fucking stupid though. Like, all right, let's kill off characters that like the audience has grown to know and actually like and care about, and fill it with a bunch of like, random shitheads who have no personality that differentiates one from the other, except maybe Charles S. Dutton, who gives like the
Right?
same performance in like damn near every movie. He's the motivational guy and we got to be better type of thing. So, it's just it's fucking stupid in my opinion. It makes no sense. I think that they know that they fucked up big time with that. I mean, just look at how that film has performed at the box office, and then critically, I think that one was panned as well, and pales in comparison to this film. I think they know that by now. But then again, where's Fox? They don't really exist anymore. So,
Yeah. I mean, there's a big audience for the third one who says it's their favorite.
I bet there is. They can like it. I don't
Yeah.
care. They can, but I mean, it's not a superior film, so I don't care what they say.
Yes, Fox is Disney's bitch now. Good job.
Mm-hmm.
By making stupid decisions like Alien 3 and Speed 2 and various other bad decisions.
Yep.
You dogged me, pal.
That's the one
I'll
of the
take.
best lines. This rat fuck, son of a bitch.
And of course, Silver Wings, you definitely know this, Michael Biehn, and you see the way he looks with the receiver there. Well, it was for the Terminator, actually. Metal Gear the game. The cover of Metal Gear the NES game and MSX was Michael Biehn. Technically
Mm-hmm.
from the Terminator, but just reminded me of it because of the way he looked in that too with the receiver and stuff. And thank you, Red Lantern Gamer. Thank you. Popped on my feed. I'm glad it did. New subscriber. Thank you. Thanks for joining us, even for a little bit.
Yeah.
We're just having
Appreciate you
fun
watching.
watching this fantastic movie, in my opinion. And still, like Fox fucked up. I mean, that was those are the idiots, the American putos, American that said, "Oh, we could throw anything against a wall and make an alien movie. It'll be successful." Well, they were proved wrong
Mm-hmm.
because they fucked up, and Alien 3 went over budget and didn't do that well, and Resurrection didn't do that well, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe Alien vs. Predator did okay box office, but AVP Requiem didn't do that well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Alien
AVP
Covenant
did.
definitely didn't do that well.
No, not as well as they had hoped, that's for sure. Um, yeah, like it just if you think about it, you have this film starting out for production. They hadn't even approached Sigourney Weaver about the role. So
Of course.
what does that tell you? Like they have no fucking clue what they're doing. I mean, also think about this. They didn't even realize that a lot of the effects stuff that they were looking at was miniatures and stuff. They had showed a bunch of early footage to the executives and they were like, "Well, where's all the money going? Like, you know, you're doing all the sets and stuff and like you're spending all your money here." They're like, these are miniatures. Like we're not spending that much money on this stuff. Like we got plenty of visual effects coming. Like it's the practical stuff's there too. Like we just haven't shown it to you. They thought that they were wasting the money. It's like that just shows you how little executives know about filmmaking. They don't know a goddamn thing.
There was that scene we were talking about before, when people were
Mm.
asked like favorite scenes, talking
Yeah.
about the red, the getting closer. 5 meters, man, 4.
Yeah.
What the hell?
We didn't
Short
miss
controlled
anything.
burst. Oh, we missed something.
Yeah. And how great is it too? We didn't mention like those devices were in the first movie, albeit not used to the same degree, but they play such a important part in this film. Um,
Yeah,
you see like that builds tension for what's to come. Well, that's a great shot. Um,
absolutely.
like yeah, just I gotta be quiet here. Look at all this. This is just great.
No, just the editing involved where again there's like maybe 10 suits at most, and you
Hmm.
have to edit around where to make it look like there's just dozens and dozens coming out.
Yeah.
Obviously, like if you only have like 10 or so suits, okay, someone gets shot, but then you have to make it so that you can repackage it to be used in other stuff.
Hmm.
And then you have low enough lighting so you can still see, but they're less detailed than the first one because they had to have more mobility.
Yep.
And with the lighting, you have less detail and still not ruin the illusion.
No. Oh, you want some?
Even like the gunshots, like I forget what it's called. The light that comes out of the guns, I forget the term of it.
The muzzle
The
flash?
Yeah. Why is it that they look better here than in like a new film today? Well, why is that? Well, I see
I,
that like back in the day, some of these films. Why does the muzzle flashes look better here in these 80s, 90s films than if they try do it now?
well, at least in this movie, I don't know about films of today, but in this one, I mentioned that earlier, like that was done by design. Like I remember watching them test several different guns. I saw them test an Uzi and like a few other guns to like so that like they could get the ones that had the brightest muzzle flash, and they found these guns specifically that had the brightest one because in these dark scenes, Cameron wanted that the flashes to light the characters,
Yeah.
um, which is really smart and cool, and it works, and you know it has a lot more of an impact. Um, but yeah, that's part of it.
Hmm. Use real gunpowder to create those flash. That's CGI. Well, there you go.
Yeah, I had speaking of real gunpowder, I heard a story about Remar shooting off the shotgun that Hicks uses throughout the movie and blowing a hole in the wall. Did you heard that story before?
No.
So apparently, he had the shotgun. He's playing around with it, and they were shooting, I think, Little Shop of Horrors right next door, the Rick Moranis film, and he blew a hole in the set wall, like it went through the wall of Little Shop of Horrors, like where they were shooting, but thankfully nobody was there, and nobody got hit, nobody was hurt, and Apone or Matthews, he's like, "Where the fuck did you get live ammunition? Like, how does that? Like, how do you have live rounds?" So I don't know how that works, but I've heard that that was another one of those things that probably didn't help his case on set. Of course, the drugs and stuff got him fired, but that probably didn't help either. You're blowing holes in the
Well, I
wall.
wonder if he did that while he was on drugs.
It's possible. It's very possible.
I mean, that's the thing. It could have been another Al Baldwin Russ incident. You know,
Hmm.
not careful.
That could have changed the outcome of this entire movie.
Those blanks have more powder in them. There are different load levels depending on how big you want the muzzle flash. CJ's used more today, except for Al Baldwin.
Oh
Yeah,
my
Al Baldwin and here's Vasquez's last stand.
yeah.
You actually feel bad when the characters die. That's what makes the one of many
Hmm.
reasons makes the film work. And
Yep.
Gorman, a small supporting character like this, having a moment, an arc in a way.
Hmm. And tries to redeem himself for being a fuck up earlier, even though it wasn't his fault
Mm-hmm.
because he was inexperienced. But and you know, Burke probably set all that up anyway. He's like, I'm going to get the most inexperienced guy, and I'm going to lead this team, and maybe I'll get to make it out with some of these face huggers.
Denza, I'm not sure what you mean. If you're talking about the story, no, this is about like James Remar who was going to play Hicks. This was like a completely different incident that's not on film. This is like
Mm-hmm.
before he got fired and replaced with Michael Biehn.
Yeah, you see Remar talk about that in that show, Movies That Made Us. They do an episode on aliens. I don't know if you watch that show, but
Where is
uh,
that show at? Is that YouTube or is that an actual channel?
it's made by Netflix, and I know it's on there for sure. But you might be able to find
Hmm.
it on online somewhere. But yeah, he you could tell like he was really sad about it. Like he knows he fucked up, and he really regrets all the decisions of like getting into drugs at that time.
How long is that episode?
Maybe about 50 minutes or so. They're all like about
No,
50 minutes.
I'm just surprised they got James Remar to talk about it. That's interesting.
Yeah. They got most of the cast. They had Sigourney, Jeanette Goldstein. Unfortunately, no Paxton. This was after he passed away. Um, yeah, they got pretty much
Michael Biehn?
everybody. Um, I can't remember if he was in it. I know they got Gail Ann Hurd was in there. He might be. I cannot remember. This was a while ago when I saw it.
Hmm.
That was like 2021, I think. I think that's season 3 of the Movies That Made Us.
Okay. No, I never heard that. Movies That Made Us. Okay.
Yeah, definitely check it out. It's a really good watch. I remember
Okay.
watching the episode on Home Alone. It's another one Fox almost fucked up, but then they ended up getting a mega hit. It makes you really think about like how shitty Fox was. They
What do you mean almost
never
fuck? Well, okay, that's a great shot, first off. Seymour
yes.
coming out. Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd they almost fuck up Home Alone, though?
Just the budget and I think they were like pulling out the money last minute and then they ended up staying, and that's a whole long story. But yeah, just yeah, check out that show when you get some time. There's I mean
Okay.
they do an episode on Halloween. Like I said, aliens. They might do one on Alien as well.
Hmm.
Um Friday 13th. Yeah, I mean just Ghostbusters, Home Alone, all the, good stuff.
You would not believe how many times I got asked if I was really Dow Baldwin because I have the same last name. Yeah. Here we go.
This is great. Right on the heart.
Yeah. Told you it's an easy target.
Yeah.
Ellen probably saw it a mile away. It's that bright heart. And just like Terminator, you got a lady helping a limping Michael Biehn.
Yeah.
Wondering Michael Bihn's like, God damn it again! Like I'm hurt again, and I got a lady carrying me.
Yeah.
On your feet, soldier. On
got
your feet.
got bit again. And another movie with like, and actually all Cameron's movies are TNA. He likes his TNA. True Lies, Terminator, Abyss, Aliens, Avatar. Like he likes his TNA. They all start with TNA.
What do you mean they start with TNA?
They all the letter like Terminator,
Oh,
True Lies,
okay, yeah.
Titanic, Aliens, Abyss, Avatar. Like they all, he likes his TNA, man.
Okay. I thought you meant like actual TNA. I'm like, what?
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, well, apparently he likes that too. I mean, he married like all the chicks he would work with. She's getting all the gear ready,
Yep.
going into battle.
Even the way like they did like electricity back in the day, I don't know if that's like animation compared to nowadays CG. If so, then I don't just the way I say I don't know if that's anime. I would guess that was animation. That's how they did lightning back in the day, like this and Terminator.
Mm-hmm.
It just looks aesthetically more pleasing to me compared to, I can't maybe I've just seen so much of the CGI stuff, it just sticks out more to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just
Yeah.
more used to this because I grew up with it.
Yeah, no, I mean it definitely has its place. Aesthetically speaking, it just fits. I would rather it be that than any sort of new effects. Like if they were to put the movie out again, I'd rather them not use new electricity effects, like and
Yeah.
try to map it over the old stuff. Oh,
Another scene for the special edition, which is one of my favorite. It's small, but it's one of my
mm,
favorite because it gives Hicks one last moment, which he
mm-hmm,
doesn't have in the theatrical. Because
yeah,
in the theatrical, he doesn't like it's just like he kind of just on the side here,
mm-hmm,
and then you never see him again ever because he dies in the next one,
right,
unless he's knocked out, put into cryo sleep. But here, at least that one moment, it's nice. I
yeah,
wish
and
that was like in the theatrical.
yeah, I mean, and he obviously cares about her to a certain degree. And you know
Yeah,
that he would go down there with her if he could, but he's all fucked up by the xenomorph acid, so he's only got one eye.
gearing up for war. And like I see the one of my favorite shots is when the elevator opens and she just slides out, and I'm just the angle they used as she's carrying that thing as she exits the elevator just always stuck out to me.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of the idea Neil Blomkamp had of doing the alternate Alien 3 and you saw like the artwork of an older Hicks
I
face
loved it.
kind of burned?
I would have rather we got that than them going into Prometheus, Covenant, and well, the new one's questionable. I won't completely shit on it. I haven't seen enough to make me say that like I hate it or anything yet.
Right.
But yeah, I just think that would have been the better way to go. It would have been fun, I think. And he seemed to have a very clear set idea of what he wanted to do. All the artwork and all the stuff that we saw that he released looked great. It looked like something I'd like. Um, I haven't had anything like that since, so
He
I
definitely
wish we
seemed like
could
he
have
had a
got it.
vision.
Hmm.
He definitely seemed like he had a vision or passion for it. And
Yeah.
even me, who's against a lot of sequels, I would have been enticed to see the guy who did District 9 do an
Hmm.
alternate Alien 3 with Hicks and Ripley. And the
Yeah. I
director's that
mean,
perfect. I wasn't big on Elysium. I wasn't
mm,
big on Chappie.
same.
But this seemed, I don't know, with the what you worked with, the world you worked with, maybe it would have been like more of his
Mhm.
comfort zone. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you get a sense of aliens in District 9 a little bit. You could tell he's a fan. I mean, there are a couple of nods in there. Um, even like the suit that like the guys in. Of course, there's like, weaponry and stuff attached to it, but it did remind me of like the loader that they use at the end of Aliens or this film.
Yeah,
Yeah, like it was all there, man. It could have lined up and went perfectly, I think, but we'll never know.
exactly.
One throwaway thing though that we didn't really talk about earlier was where Bishop mentioned the Hyperdyne systems, which is kind of a reference to Terminator. Um, do you think that those films could have existed in the same universe?
Well, I mean, you would have to. the war could not have happened then. I don't think, right?
in
The
Terminator.
future war. Yeah,
Well, that's all Earth's problems, and if you, not that this would count, but apparently Earth is a shithole. I think Ron Perlman says that in Resurrection. Of course, that does not connect to this, but um, let's say it
but
had
no one ever
happened.
references Terminators for that reason, though.
Yeah,
You think
yeah,
that'd be kind of referenced, like
yeah.
actual like Terminators and stuff?
Hmm. Well, at least
Why would you get one of those androids?
the
Why don't we get one of
technology
those
would,
cyborgs instead of these androids?
right.
Let's use one
Yeah,
of those cyborgs for the shit to capture
unless
our xenomorphs.
at that time they were all completely eradicated and the war was over, but they're still using the technology. Like at the end of T2, you do have the chip and they have a piece of the arm.
Yeah,
So there's pieces of the tech around. Um, I don't know, just something to think about. Like I always thought that
right.
was an interesting line where he says the Hyperdyne systems.
Is that a reference? I thought it was like in Terminator was Cyberdyne, not Hyperdyne. Was it Cyberdyne in Terminator? Not Hyperdyne?
Isn't that
I thought it was
referenced in?
Cyberdyne.
I thought it was both. I know Cyberdyne's in there, but
I just don't remember Hyperdyne in Terminator. Now that I think about it, I don't remember Hyperdyne.
Predminator, you're the Terminator guy. Let us know.
I don't remember I don't remember Hyperdyne because I'm like, where was that reference? I don't remember Hyperdyne.
Hmm.
No, no, Scratch Burno. Sorry, I saw your comments. Like Alien 2 on Earth commentary. Not anytime soon. Fuck that. Great oh shit moment right here in the nest.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Like, oh shit.
Silverwing says it's a play on words. Predminator says Cyberdyne. Yeah, could be a play on words. Could be, yeah.
Okay, well, like Bart says, you brought this up.
Hmm.
Where in Terminator did they mention Hyperdyne that you remember?
Um, I don't know if they actually did say that. That's what I remembered. I thought that that's what they said. But yeah, I do remember Cyberdyne, but I thought that they had mentioned Hyperdyne as well. Um, yeah. Or hey, maybe it's the next
Dime a dozen.
evolution of the technology.
It's a dime a
Because
dozen.
this would be later on. I mean, this is what 2257 or something in the future. So maybe it's the evolved version of the technology. Who knows?
It's the
We'll never
Tranodyne,
know.
the tranny version.
Oh God, dude,
Tranodyne.
no, don't. You're gonna get canceled.
The Tranodyne. What great effects? I mean, Stan. We didn't mention Stan Winston, of course. May he rest in peace.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's.
Him and his team worked on this Queen alien, and just
Mhm.
one of the best creations and practical effects. I mean, it's sad, I mean, that's just how it is with the more time goes by with films. Bill Paxton, Stan Winston, James Horner, people
Mhm.
have passed away since,
Yeah.
and just a
Yeah.
great design. The
Mhm.
teeth, how at times almost look like glass, and I mean that in a good way. Just gives a more of a
Yeah.
creepy vibe to it.
Which I believe was in the original script as well. They did talk about like how that that was supposed to be a distinction so that, the queen is slightly different in certain aspects, one of them being the teeth.
Hmm.
Oh man, this is so good. Just the head tilt. Like, I'm not gonna walk out of here without that. Like going up in flames. There's no way. But yeah, two guys in a suit again, uh, for the motion of the queen, all based off of a drawing from Cameron, and Stan Winston put it all together with his team, and yeah, all those guys are great. Tom Woodruff Jr. and I mean, they just nailed it. This still holds up and looks fantastic.
And I love this scene. This is like her Rambo moments.
Mm-hmm.
Just her just getting all that PTSD out. Just that's a good way to get out. Just blow the shit out of him. It worked. If it works, it worked. Blow the shit out of him and blow this guy away. And I know Sigourney Weaver's like, I don't like guns. I don't like guns. But you know what? Fuck it. The guns work.
Yeah, she had a hard time admitting it, like to herself, that she's like, I
It
don't
was
like
fun to
that
do.
feeling of guns. Like after you shoot them, she's like, you kind of get into it, but she's like, that
Which
feeling that
is,
I'm so macho after I shoot it is bullshit. But I'm like, you like it though, like you like guns. It's okay. You don't like gun
and that's one of the reasons.
violence, but guns are fine in the right hands. Like, I mean, come on.
But like that's one of the reasons there's no guns in Alien 3. Was the most hypocritical bullshit because so many films afterward was like Cabin in the Woods. She has a gun at the end. Paul, she had a gun at the end. Does Bruce Willis from Cold Light of Day? She has a gun. I think she
Mm-hmm.
even shoots Bruce Willis or someone. Like all these other fucking films later, you had guns and you're shooting or killing people or shooting people. I guess she just don't like shooting aliens. I don't know. She wanted to fuck one. Isn't that what
Oh,
James Cameron said? Like the before doing this film, like she had demands like, I don't want to use guns, or I need to die, or sex with the alien, or something like that.
no, she,
And
from what I
and that
remember,
happened throughout the rest of it. Pretty much
sh
sex with the fourth one, died in the third one, no guns in the third
that was
one.
that director. That guy was nuts. Like, wanted a dick on the alien or whatever. No, but what she said to Cameron was like her demands were like for the character of Ripley itself, like that. Um, she do things a certain way, and from what I remember, he was totally okay with accommodating all the stuff, like some of the decisions that she would go on to make. Um, and they came to a common middle ground on a lot of it. I mean,
But I
you
mean,
see
James
how
Cameron literally
well it
said
turned
in
out.
a commentary that that's what she wanted.
Her to
Like a commentary for Aliens, it was, Sigourney, like she wanted to have sex with the alien, die, and not use guns. And then she did that in the next two films. James Cameron said that himself. I'm not making it up.
I
Yeah, I think it was a commentary for
I
this
believe you if
film.
he did say it. I'll have to
He
listen
did
to it
say it.
again. I don't remember. From what I remember him saying was just demands on the Ripley character, but there was
Right.
I don't remember him saying that, but maybe I don't. I mean,
I
it's
I
possible.
swear to God, I swear to God, I know he said it because I remember that distinctly. Because it's the same commentary that at the end he's like happy, and there's like then the next one they kill everybody. Like I threw
Hmm.
that out there like at the end of the comment. So like I do remember that part. So
Hunk 100 said that it was in the original script. Cyberdyne was mentioned, and the company that made the synthetics, but then it was changed to Hyperdyne. So maybe that's what I'm remembering.
mm,
Because I do have the original script for this. This is
okay.
all cool stuff right here.
Mm.
It's like there's no hope. It's all in peril. How's she gonna get out? And at the time, it probably did trick the audience because they're used to the drone like turning at some point. And then he ups the scene again by having the queen come out of the elevator.
Yeah. Show up. I think we missed it. Well, we missed it earlier, but I think when she shoots with the flamethrower against the xenomorph in the elevator, I think they used music from the first movie.
Hmm.
That right there, right there. I think that was for some reason remember that from the first movie. It's like the only music I don't remember being like James Horner type. But yeah, it's in the when she was in the elevator shooting with a flamethrower and it's like going out and she's trying to still shoot it. Of course, this is the score Bishop's Countdown.
Yep.
Which again was used in so many movie trailers throughout. Dun, 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 dun. Put the queen down to the landing gear. Sneaky bitch. Well, yeah, we don't see it because it was ruined the surprise.
Yeah, you think it's over.
Like a cockroach. It's like a cockroach. They fit in everywhere. You just barricade yourself like Fort Knox, and they'll find a way to burrow and sneak in.
Yeah, and that moment got a big reaction too. Like nobody expected that to happen for the tail to come through Bishop, let alone rip him in half, which is a great effect.
I see this one time. I like that moment between Ripley and Hicks because like all you get to see of Hicks is just he's knocked the fuck out. So that's why I like that moment in the special edition.
Yeah. And I mean, shit, he hasn't slept in even longer amount of time. He's been awake for like days. And then they have their brief moment right there. She's like, "Oh yeah,
not anymore."
Yeah, not anymore. All the milk and yogurt.
Yeah.
Lance said he got sick from all that.
I don't blame him. I'd be sick too. Talk about tearing him a new asshole.
Yeah.
He literally did. You ever heard the phrase torn new asshole? Here you go. This is what it looks like.
This effect, this whole puppet with the queen. I got Stan Winston his other job in Jurassic Park for the T-Rex because Spielberg was impressed by it. So he's like,
Yeah.
I think I need to work with Stan Winston.
It's weird when you think about it, is that, if let's say it did end like you thought it was going to end, they blow it up, they sleep, the end. Still been a really good movie. I would say this finale is what makes it a classic because, like we mentioned before, when I asked, it's a slow build, how's it that, we're not bored with this? There's a variety of reasons. But then, I'll speak for myself. There may be a film nowadays is 2.5, 3 hours and get fairly boring. You mentioned payoff. And this is like, if the audience is waiting, they've got a lot of good little payoffs here and there. Now you have this massive fight and battle. This is like the ultimate payoff for an audience. Like, you think it can't be any better. And then you have this whole thing with this creature and the power loader and the reveal of that. And it's just,
which was,
it's like main event of a boxing.
Yeah. And it was set up earlier in the film. So the audience is familiar and they know what it can do. So they're like, okay, here we go.
Payoff.
Yeah, let's even it out a little bit. Now here's the final fight. Mother versus mother.
A mother versus a motherfucker. Their name was Cameron Chanley, Starship Troopers. I mean, had Cameron read Starship Troopers at this point? I don't know.
I mean, that's another film that gets close for me in terms of entertainment and a group of like marine type or soldier type characters that go into battle
Hmm.
against these creatures. Um, I don't know, but like for me, I love Starship Troopers. And some of the effects are questionable, but overall, I still find it a very fun film.
Yeah, it's still amazing what they were able to accomplish back then with
Hmm.
this dance of puppeteers having to move this back and forth. And
Yeah.
but then I think, well, if we have CGI, they could go on the walls, it'd go on the ceiling, it'd go on the. That
Hmm.
doesn't matter if it looks like shit or if it looks hokey, if it looks cartoony or no gravity, no sense of weight to it. It
Hmm.
just becomes a lame cartoon.
Yeah. No doubt, Neopunk. I agree 100%. I love RoboCop. Total Recall is fantastic. Um, but yeah, give it another watch. I think you'll have some fun with Starship Troopers.
Now, X-Ray Punch, I can't remember the Alien 2 ideas. I remember more of the Alien 3 ideas. You know, the Rennie Harlan wanted to do it, or that weird farm with all the animal alien things, and then the wooden planet from the guy who would go on to direct What Dreams May Come, Robin Williams. But the Alien 2 ideas, I don't remember. Do you? The other ideas for Alien 2?
Um, Not from uh Walter Hill, no.
Hmm. I'm surprised he didn't want to direct it since he was wanted to be part of it.
Well, I know
Walter
that
Hill.
like from what I had heard, they were interested in Cameron like for a while. Um, and then eventually, like, he came on board and he had some of like the ideas and stuff already written for Aliens way back before they even started.
Hmm.
So, once he officially signed on, he just hit the ground running. So I don't even know if Walter Hill will have ever been in the running to direct or anything.
Mm. Once again, Bishop's Countdown,
Yep.
which I don't think was the original music they were going to use. Because I think on the Blu-ray or whatever, there's another score track. I think the music they were going to use, like James Horner did originally. Remember that you've seen Die Hard, right? Of course.
Oh yeah, of course.
Remember seeing Reginald Vaughn Johnson shoots the guy, and you have that music like da, 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 da,
Hmm.
da, da. That music was going to be in this scene,
Hmm.
but then they didn't use it, and James Cameron wanted this, and then Fox took that music and put it in Die Hard.
Hmm.
Because even if you listen to the soundtrack of Aliens, that music is on the soundtrack.
Hmm.
But yeah, James
Hmm.
Horner had that, but then James Cameron's like, I want to reuse that Bishop's Countdown one,
Okay.
and so did that. And then again, it's another Fox movie. So yeah, it's at the end when Reginald Vaughn Johnson shoots. Was it Carl?
Yeah.
I think that's about his name, Carl. Shoots him, and that like grandiose music. That part is James Horner rejected piece of music from this movie.
Hmm. Oh yeah. Well, we didn't mention Bishop, his little heroic feat right there with Newt, and
Mm-hmm.
even the Queen going out of the airlock right there. That was stop motion, and the little miniature that they
First,
built
people
for
would
the
say,
loader.
would she
That's
be
where,
able to hold on to the vacuum of space and not be sucked out, especially with the 800 pounds queen holding on her? I just didn't
yeah,
go with it, but
yeah. I mean, if
I know.
there's one little thing to question in the movie, that would probably be it. But yeah, like
I know,
I
yeah.
look past that. I mean,
I know it's unrealistic, but
yeah, her arm would have been ripped off for sure. But I look past that. That's the tiny little thing after like almost 2.5 hours of insanity, good insanity. Like you can let that one go. But no, she wouldn't be able to hold on.
stunt performer Chris Webb, the basketball player? No, I'm just joking. The
But yeah, they tried to catch that loader in the airlock scene when it falls out, and I remember they said like it went through the net that they had set up below to catch it. It went right through and crashed into a million pieces on the floor. Then they had to try to like hot glue it back together and shoot it again. And by the end of it, it's just like a pile of junk. I remember seeing the behind the scenes photo of that, but it served its purpose. So it looks good.
Of course, we saw the named conceptual artist Ron Cobb. He would go on to do films like Leviathan, show
Mhm.
over here, which is a personal favorite of mine. Yeah, Predminator, still a great film.
Yeah, and I mean, we just been talking like nonstop for like 2.5 hours about the movie. I mean, there's still so much to discuss. Yeah, you could watch it again and still find new things to talk about.
Yeah.
There's so much in there. But yeah, it's a fantastic movie. Never gets old. Um, makes you appreciate filmmaking. It's definitely like a type of movie where you could sit like a class down and say, "Hey, look at these sequences and look at the way that's lit, that shot, the lenses that they used for the close-ups or any of the animatronics or anything about it, even performances, IMAX scenes, how you write the ending, all of it. You could write a class, have a class, like do a whole like paper on it and learn from it. And I think they did that for the first Terminator as well. Like
Hmm.
there's like a class on like the first movie. They learn about just making of a film and what he everything that he did right in that one.
Then I know this is just random, but just another thing that kills me about the Oscars that was mentioned before is like, okay, this you see what films get nominated for Oscars nowadays. You know, Barbie,
Mm-hmm.
Black Panther, but this doesn't get nominated. Instead, films like Hannah and Her Sisters or Room with a View. Who the fuck has seen those movies or gives a shit about those films? Platoon won Best Picture. I like Platoon, but
Yeah.
I would say I like this film more.
Oh, of course.
And but it's like, who gives a Children of a Lesser God, Hannah and Her Sisters, The Mission, A Room with a View? Let's be honest, who gives a fuck about any of those four films?
Oh
I'm not
man.
going to say they're all bad films. I'm just like, who gives a fuck about those four films?
Mm-hmm. You know,
Yeah.
it's funny. Like you sound like my buddy because like he's a huge cinema fan as well, and he says like when certain movies like that, like probably should have won something like, or maybe even Best
Right.
Picture, and they don't win. He has that same reaction. He's like, "Who the fuck cares about this movie?"
I mean, oh, Platoon has, but I mean, of those other films I mentioned, which
Hmm.
stood more the test of time? Any of those films are Aliens?
Oh, of course, Aliens. That's a no brainer.
Exactly. So I was like, come on now. I'm not just saying this just to be arbitrary or just to be different. It's just like Like, come on now. It's like back then. It's like, well, if it's popular, then it can't be nominated. Well, that's not true. I think Star Wars was nominated and Jaws was nominated. Well, I'm not sure Jaws. Maybe it was. I think
Mm-hmm.
Jaws was. So I don't know. I don't know why. Well, okay, it's nominated for Best Actress and nominated for this, that, but not Best Picture. Okay.
Yeah. No, I understand. Like, that's like, because he always talks about, like he's a big Apocalypse Now fan, and he always shits on Kramer versus Kramer winning all that stuff that year. He's like, who the fuck cares about Kramer versus Kramer? He's like, nobody talks about that movie. Nobody cares. But I'm like, dude, like Francis got his his nomination, like let's be happy with that.
Yeah, it's a bunch of fucking people how it jerking each other off. I guess. So I guess the commentary is done.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we could be on for like 10 more minutes for people who want to just ask questions or anything, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, I'm cool.
Just give a sort of a thank you to people for watching. Thanks to
Mm-hmm.
Predminator for requesting.
Yep,
Very nice of you. From what I understand, we actually will have another commentary next week, thanks to Predminator, the theatrical cut of Terminator 2,
that's gonna be a
which you
great one.
mentioned.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
Pretty much that's Thursday, same time, 9 p.m. Central. And then I have another live stream, which was another request tomorrow with my friend Fabio, Sally
Mhm.
on Rebel Moon Part 2, because the guy knew we hated the first one. So he requests for us to do a first time watch of the second one. So that'll be interesting for a different
Yeah.
fucking thing.
Gonna hate watch it.
Uh, do I prefer the theatrical or special of T2?
Ooh,
I'll go with theatrical.
yeah, I love T2 so much. I mean when I do watch it, I watch the special edition. Um just because
Mm-hmm.
it gives me more time with the movie, much like not so much like this cut, because this does have like extra stuff that you need to see. Like some of the extra scenes in T2 I don't have to see, but I still like seeing anyway, just because I love the movie so much. So yeah, I always
Mm-hmm.
prefer to watch the longer version of that. And nothing in it like fucks up the other like remaining parts of the theatrical cut. So um
Right.
like it is what it is, but like I don't need to see that smiling scene with Arnold where he's trying to
Oh yeah.
he's trying to teach him how to smile. But I like it. Like it makes me laugh, but I don't have to see it though. But yeah, it's great. It's a classic movie. Go watch that like any day of the week. That one's gonna be fun.
Yeah, definitely. Just look at the chat here, and thanks to people like Silver Wings, Country Shape, Preminator, Too Many Movies, and other people staying tuned with us. Thank you for that. Do you think Terminator should have ended at 2? Yes.
Considering
Just
what we
like
got,
Alien.
yeah. Yeah, I mean
A lot of... Yeah, go ahead.
I've heard Cameron talk about the third movie. Um he had ideas for it. I don't know if he had completed the script. I'm guessing he hadn't yet, but um he was open to doing it. Um much more so than he was to doing an Alien 3. I remember him talking about like he didn't want to do another Alien movie because he thought, well, with at least with this story, like he had taken it as far as he could go. There was somewhat of a family created in a sense with Ripley. There's Newt. There's Hicks. Obviously, there's a connection between all three of them having shared this crazy experience. And for the most part, the aliens could have, or the Xenos could have been eradicated in that ending. And he said if
Mhm.
they had wanted to do other stuff and expand the universe, that was fine, but he wasn't going to be a part of it because he had told his story and he was done. And
Mhm.
he spent so much time making the movie that there wasn't an opportunity for him to do it again because he only had so much time to do movies because that film took so much time to make. The interviewer said, well, if the money is right, and this was back in 86 when it came out, when she said that. And he said,
Mm.
well, not even because whatever I'm going to do to the best of my ability, but I'm not going to use another chance at making a movie to do the exact same thing that I've already done, which is why Terminator 1 and T2 is so vastly different from each other. Great movies, but completely different. And they both have their own stakes. And with the second outing, you up the stakes. So I've always wondered what he was going to do to up the stakes again for the third film. Of course, we'll never know, but it always intrigued me, the idea of like him wanting to actually do a third film, given his stance on like aliens and not doing more films unless you actually have a better story to tell and expand all the mythology, if you will. So yeah, it's an interesting thought, but I wish it had ended it too, man. Like, just, dude, like Dark Fate was so bad, so bad.
Exactly.
I haven't seen him make another film since. Thankfully, he came and went. I mean, I wouldn't say his career's over because he might be like producing or something now.
Or
Um,
TV, maybe TV stuff he's doing.
yeah, he could be doing that, but what a waste. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. He's living in Avatar land. He doesn't want to leave. He doesn't want to make Terminator 3. He'd rather somebody else do it and let them fuck it up, which is what
Oh,
happened.
okay. I thought you meant the director of Dark Fate. That's why I know I
No,
was doing TV and stuff.
oh yeah, I did mean him. I did mean him, but I just mean
Okay.
like I sort of sorry I didn't say Cameron, but I sort of switched over to talking about Cameron. Like I wish because
Oh,
like he
okay.
got the rights back and then he appoints the filmmaker to do it, which is fine. But like it's your thing, and you had always talked about like you got to see other people do it, and you it was an idea always in the back of your mind. Like, what if I did get involved with this again? So you had your chance, but like you didn't want to leave Avatar Land to do it. And it just it fucking sucks, man. Like that they fucked that franchise up so bad. At least we still have the first two movies. I can always go back to those. But I have to put a lot of the other stuff out of my mind. It just
Right.
I can't watch Dark Fate, man. Like and to even like give us that tease where like they have the young Arnold, the young Furlong at the beginning, and even Linda Hamilton there. You got all the players there, and then you pull the rug out from under the audience and say, "You're not getting that. You want that, but you're not going to get it. Fuck you." And yeah, it just went downhill from there. I mean, that whole movie fell apart really, really fast. That's on my own take on it. I'm pretty sure you feel the same way.
Yeah, ditto. And I never, I mean, what do you think of Terminator 2 3D Battle Across Time, the ride? I never got to experience it. I know of it. I know Arnold came back, Edward Furlong came back, Robert Patrick.
Hmm. Yeah, a
Uh,
lot of the
I'm
footage
just,
is on YouTube. I've seen that.
yeah,
Um,
that was Universal Studios, was it?
I think so. Cool idea. Um, it looked cool. That's probably the most you're going to get for a continuation. But
I don't know how long that ride lasted. I'm trying to remember how long that ride would have lasted.
I know it was a success because I remember Arnold talking about it. I'm not sure how
Right.
long though, but it did do well.
I guess by the time, like, the only time I went to Universal Studios there, that one was when I was very, very young as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So it might not even been around at that point. It might have been before, because it might have been like 90 or so I went. And that was when it was like E.T. the ride, but it was like, what was it? E.T. the ride and
I remember that one.
uh, I'm trying to remember Back to the Future the ride.
I was gonna bring that one up. Did they still have Back to the Future at that point?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
I rode that. That was fun.
nice.
Uh, I think there was one that was like Scooby Doo.
Hmm.
It was similar to Back to the Future. I think the King Kong one wasn't working. So I don't think, but I think we were on like the earthquake one. With very vague memories, but
Hmm. Yeah, I got to
vague
do
memories.
a few. This was like a year or two ago. Like the VR of Back to the Future, the ride. Of course, not quite the same thing, but it was still fun to
Right.
experience in virtual reality. That was kind of cool.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I didn't. I would have been way too young at that point. I would have been like,
Have you have you ever gone Universal Studios, the theme park?
never, no, never.
Hmm.
I regret it. I wish I could have, but no.
You'd go there now and ride, I don't know, Harry Potter, whatever the hell they have there now.
Fucking Harry Potter.
I don't even know what they have now. That'd be interesting to look what they have now compared to
Hmm.
back then.
Yeah, that'd be something like for fun for vacation if they actually had something that like I would like. But I don't know. It's like the movies that they would put in now. It would be like I don't know, fucking Hunger Games or some shit. Like I wouldn't even care. Like
Yeah. What was more of a fuck up, Terminator 3 or Alien 3? Alien 3 was more of a fuck up. At least to
mhm,
me, Alien 3 was more.
yeah.
And Mr. Heavy Metal is asking, where have we traveled in the world? Nowhere. I've never been outside of the country.
Yeah, nowhere outside the US for me. I mean, I've been to different states before, on
Mhm.
vacation and stuff. Um, I mean, like stuff like Cedar Point was really fun in Ohio. Um, so many different rides. And then they have the movie themed ones as well. Those are really cool. Um, yeah, Vegas is always cool. That's a really fun tourist destination. There's a lot to do in Vegas. And then I'm not talking about the prostitutes, which are in full force on the strip, nonstop. Like it's crazy. you can't you can't walk down one street on the strip in Vegas without like getting handed a flyer for some escort service or some shit. It's everywhere. I remember I was like
Yeah, true.
13 at the time and they were handing me that
Yeah.
stuff and I'm like, I I'm only a teenager. Like I can't, I can't do that. Exactly, Silver Wings. That's pretty much what it was like.
I mean, around the country, I mean, not a whole lot. Lived in Iowa. We're so close to Minnesota, we'll go to Minnesota. They went to South Dakota at one point. Saw them on Rushmore. I don't know if it was there. I think it was around there. There was some kind of tourism where you like go into these kind of they made it look like a Western town. This is like when I was a little kid. You dress up like cowboys and take like pictures, like the old time cowboy pictures and stuff.
You did your Young Guns post.
I don't know if at that age I would have seen Young Guns.
Okay.
You see, I've been to Disney World a long time ago at one point, Disneyland one time, Valley Fair, which was in Iowa. I think maybe Wisconsin Dells once, maybe. No, never been to Vegas. So I mean, a few, but nothing of recent. Thank you, Predminator.
Teenage, even better. No, I mean at that time, I'm talking like 13. Like I don't even. Yeah, I wouldn't have even known what to do at that point. I was a little too young. Now maybe like 4 or 5 years later, yeah, but you know.
If you were in jail and had a last meal, what would you have? A meal in the Bahamas. Because I'd be like, I'm going to die soon, so it's not going to fucking matter too much what it is. I'm still going to be dead within a day. So I'd be like,
Yeah.
how about a meal outside of your court where I can't get back by extradition?
What the guy say in Green Mile that he wanted? Like, there was some like famous chick he wanted. He's like, I want her to come sit on my face. Like, that's my last request.
That's his last meal. There you
Yeah.
go. That's his last meal. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, okay, that's a better answer. Predators asking Mark, would you be open for a Commando or True Lies commentary with Matt in the distant future? I'll stray away from the aliens wanting to request other films.
Oh, hell yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, True Lies for sure. Commando too. I like Commando. Um, I
Do
like.
you? You don't sound like it. Commando.
I mean, I like it.
Let's
It's
go
got some
Commando.
hilarious lines in it. Um, what's his name? John Matrix or something. It's just
Yeah,
ridiculous.
great.
It's
Commando's
entertaining.
awesome.
Yeah, it's very entertaining. Um, but yeah, either one of those, I'll do both. Hell, either one, man.
I would as well. Worst movie both of you have seen in the theater? In a theater?
For me, that's a very easy answer. The Nightmare remake. Um, so at the time, like they put out the Blu-ray, the first movie, and they put a ticket in it so that you could go see the remake. And I was like, I know this isn't going to be good, but I'm going to go see it anyway because I got a free ticket to go see. So like instead of that happening, a friend of mine wanted to go see it, and then like his cousins wanted to see it, so they were all going to go, and then they were going to pay for me to go. Um, and I didn't drive, and had I driven, I would have walked out and left. But they drove, so I was like, well, I guess I kind of have to stay, and I don't want to stand in the lobby, so fuck it, I'll watch this catastrophe happen and see how much worse it gets. Yeah, I would have walked out had I driven to go see it. That's for me. That's the worst.
I honestly, a lot of films I just, especially if I think they're gonna be bad, I don't see in the theater. I'll find different ways to watch them. If I have a good film, they'll be bad. But I would probably say the worst one, probably the Thing prequel. in the theater. The Thing
Okay.
prequel.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
I don't know why I went to the theater for that one. Maybe because hey, I love John Carpenter's The Thing,
mm-hmm.
and they did a shit job with it.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, another one would have been the Fog remake, which is not my choice to go see because I thought the trailer looked terrible, but it was a date movie. So yeah, I did very little watching of the movie and did other things in the theater. So I didn't mind it too much, but yeah, it still was a pretty terrible
And
movie.
did other people.
Well, not I would go. I'm not going to go that far. I wouldn't say I did that, but you know, I
Well, if she's other people, I mean, did you do other people? Was she other people?
no comment. I'm not. All right, I shouldn't have brought that up.
So that's a yes. General, I'll be honest. I've only seen the two Equalizer films. I know I'm alone in this. I was not a fan of those. I like Denzel.
Mhm.
Those films just did not do much for me. Did you see the
Um,
Equalizer movies?
what I saw, I thought was just okay, but I've never sat down to watch them straight through.
Hmm.
So I can't really give a definitive answer. I know they did 3 of them,
The
right?
third one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't bother to see the third.
Yeah, haven't seen the third.
I'll ask it a different way. What is your favorite meal? Ah,
Um hmm,
that's tough. Usually I'm a pretty simple guy. I mean,
just pizza.
yeah, pepperoni pizza, maybe stuffed crust, or just like something McDonald's, like a chicken sandwich, plain, and French fries. I love the chicken nuggets.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, I mean pizza for me. I don't need all the extra shit. I could live without the pineapple and anchovies and all that garbage. Um, just regular pepperoni I'll take or plain cheese. Um,
also,
yeah.
I love Popeye's chicken. Sadly, they don't have Popeyes around here. Love
What
Popeye's chicken.
what do they have in Texas? Chick-fil-A?
They don't really have any chicken right now. They, I guess there was like KFC and it closed down. But then I
Oh.
looked at the reviews and there's like 1 star, so maybe they should do better.
Texas doesn't like chicken.
At least not here in this area, at least.
Okay.
Uh, and I like chicken wings, but I like the chicken
Mhm.
wings that doesn't stain your hands. Like Pizza Hut used to have these chicken wings. I was like oven roasted, and like you would get them, they would not stain your hands at all. But it's like they changed it, and now anytime you pick it up, it's just all over your hands and stuff. I don't know, they like changed it, but I don't know. I know it's funny. I'm the white guy that said Popeye's chicken. I know. So it does say it's like
um, yeah, like Beyond Pizza. I mean, I love a good steak. I'm a
mm,
filet mignon guy. I love a good steak. Yeah, steak,
mm.
vegetables, mashed potatoes, stuff like that. Yeah, a
Would you
lot of
get?
I
Yes,
like
go ahead.
grilled chicken more than fried, honestly.
Mm.
But yeah.
Yeah, I guess that would be healthier for you, but I do prefer more fried chicken.
Hey, people like their grease, man. Like it's
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
I'll die quicker, but it'll be with a smile on my face at least.
Um,
And would you guys recommend the Arrow release of Tremors 2? I didn't. I still haven't done to watch the whole thing, but what I've seen, yes. If you like the film, definitely recommend it.
yeah, I haven't watched it yet either. Um, but I would recommend it, like you said, from what I've seen and from all the other people that I heard opinions of on it. Like, yeah, I would say it's a good purchase. Um, it's an interesting one. It's hottest female celebrity. This is a subjective. There's no right or wrong answer. So you, I'd love to hear your answer on that.
I mean, it's going to sound weird. I don't really look at if I want that. I'd rather watch just adult videos. Like I don't when I watch movies, I'm like, okay, maybe like she's beautiful, but like hot. I don't know. I know this is different, but I would say like okay, Sandra Bullock. I guess I would say beautiful, like one of my favorite actresses. And yeah,
Mhm.
as I see women that are hot, and because oh they're naked and they show their tits at the nudie bar in the action movie, but I don't like other people. It's like oh I love this actress because she's so hot. I'm like okay, well I mean you go on plenty of websites and find 30 of them that do a lot more than that. And so it just I just to me is like that's not a I don't know what's the best way to word it
So
necessity for me.
right, but as far as who you find most attractive, you'd say Sandra Bullock maybe would be your pick.
Sure, I guess, yeah. Sure.
Um, oh, he said it in the chat. The young version of Edwige Fenech, I always thought was really hot. Um, I mean, that's the thing. Like, there's so many. Who's the hottest? That I couldn't say, but I mean, I could just give you a list of hot ones, but you probably already know who they are. I mean, Selma Hayek and From Dusk Till Dawn. I mean, like it's all the obvious answers. So I don't have really any one particular. I'm a man of many tastes, so I don't know. I couldn't give one answer. It'd be a lot of them.
Yeah. Mark, have you heard of the original proposed Alien 3 in the 80s Alien Anchor Point? I think Rennie Harlan was going to direct it. I'd never heard of that title.
No, I haven't heard that. Rennie Harlan, huh? What year would that have
I mean,
been? Would that?
I know one point he wanted to do an Alien 3. I know he was tears of doing it, and it was close, but he did not want to do a prison planet, and he wanted to like go to the alien planet. Like there was a plan to go there, but they said it was too much money and stuff. And then they
Mm-hmm,
said, "Well, we want you to do this prison planet thing." He's like, "I don't want to do that," so he was gone.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's just not a great idea. Um, I've said that before though. Like I don't know. Fuck Alien 3. I'm not going to talk about it. But no, to answer your question, no, I didn't hear that title before or anything.
And I guess really we'll come to an end because it's been about 3 hours and 8 minutes. It's
Mm-hmm.
past midnight over here. Could imagine pretty late on your end as well.
Yeah, it's after midnight here. And yeah, dude, I said Edwige Fenech. Hottest? Maybe of that time. But then there's others like
Yeah.
Barbara Boucher, who was just as hot. Um, So, I mean, like I said, it'd be really hard to say for one for
I
specific.
thought you
Like
said
it's
Bobby
just
Boucher.
no God, no,
I thought you said Bobby Boucher.
no. And definitely 60s and even early 70s Barbara Boucher for sure. Between her and Edwige Fenech, there you go. One of those two. Oh, just of that era though. I don't know about now. I haven't seen either one of them since then.
Yeah, exactly. Don't feed the Mogwai after midnight. So be careful out there for those who have them.
And yes,
And you're welcome, Prem. Yeah, go ahead.
Bryce Dallas Howard is hot too. I do like her a lot. Don't get me
And
started,
you're welcome,
guys. I could go
Prem.
all night. Yep. Sorry. Predminator, you're the man. Thank you for the request. Appreciate it.
And with that said, thank you guys for watching. Take care. And we will see you guys in the next one.
Yep.
Take care, everyone.